Hello, everyone!
Hey guys.
So, as you may have noticed, this time, Xana is unfortunately unavailable. He ran away, he did not
been
want his
replaced.
brain in space. So, this time, we are joined by none other than Traxtal!
Hello. I know, it's pure awkward. Wait a second, what is Traxtal doing? Traxtal had a little bit of time. He heard like Digimon games was being talking about, and I was like, yeah, I jump on and talk.
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Right,
I am frozen.
That is a thing that happens sometimes. I can fix that.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. Alright, if I just grab these, there we go. That should prevent any freezing and allow for maximum,
Zan's mind was blown too much. His head just fucking exploded.
Yeah. Alright. So.
Oh, sorry, I have to watch the language here.
Yeah. I mean, you were just saying, like, Bandai doesn't care. If Bandai doesn't care, why not swear up a fucking storm?
We don't highlight that. We don't want them to start caring.
That's a good point. We shall try
Anyways.
to limit our language to that which appears in Digimon video games.
So we can say anything but F's and C's for now.
Yep.
I'll let you start anyways, it's your stream.
Alright, so, this time we are talking about Digimon video games, and, their possible implications on Digimon lore. Now, this is actually kind of rooted in a video you did for Halloween. So, if you'd like to give a basic rundown on how this came to be.
Okay, so basically, one day I was trying to script an idea for I was literally just working on my Halloween video, which was how Digimon took a lot of like core aspects from Resident Evil and just put it into their own Digimon world as like a small section. Basically, when I came up with that idea, I was thinking, hold on, this could be a series. And then it says, do you know where this would fit well, actually? Because the more I found out, there was actually a lot of games to do on. The more I thought about it, it was like, literally this suits so well with MONSPIRACY. So I got onto Azure immediately, like that night. I got into Azure, like, we have to do this. It's like, there's so much to talk about with these.
Yeah, and so I was just like, yes. So...
More lore, yes.
Yes, I am never one to turn away more lore.
No.
So yeah, so like, oh sweet, Half Dragon's School just got canceled too.
Oh man, he's having the time of his life now. He gets Digimon lore. He gets mixed with Resident Evil, possibly Sonic.
Yeah.
And and he gets no school. He's having the time of his life.
Yeah. So to start out with, Digimon World 1's mansion area, you said is ripped straight from Resident Evil, huh?
A lot of it is kind of like, yeah, I mean, like, they've literally, like, the mansion key, which pops up as, like, a little, like, box. I've done the, like, my literally, it's side-by-side, like, kind of comparisons. Like, the dining hall, the layout of the mansion, for one thing. I didn't go into this too much in the video, but it's actually the entire layout of, like, the entrance to the mansion is 100% Resident Evil. Down to the carpet on the floor, the placement of the rooms in the mansion, like, the two doors on the right upstairs, the one on the left, the doors on the right, which are locked or whatever, and then it's got like the dining hall on the left, which also resembles Resident Evil's dining hall. You know, it's like there's so much around it. The use of doors, like Digimon World does not use doors. You always see it as just like it's just a blackened shadow that you can walk through.
Yeah.
But in the mansion in Digimon World, as everyone knows, of Resident Evil, the original Resident Evils, I think even a lot of new ones, when you go through the door, you get a door loading screen. And you actually get a door loading screen in Digimon of some sort. Whereas, like, the door actually opens, you see Mameo walk through the door. It's 100% just a nod to Resident Evil, which is sick.
That is pretty sweet. So, like, Cypher just said...
Hold on. Yes, and I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to put in the video, but I couldn't play through Resi 5 enough, like fast enough to get to it. But yes, I do believe Devimon is Albert Wesker. So if you notice in Resi 5, Albert Wesker floats around like the main mansion, like entrance or whatever, as a vampire.
Okay.
And what does he do in Digimon World? When you go through there, it's like he's floating around as a vampire. So I'm half thinking, like in my head, was that like a nod to Digimon? I don't know, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but just like it seemed like because Digimon made a nod to Resident Evil, and later on Resident Evil done something similar to what Digimon done in their game. Is that a nod? Like, did they actually pay attention to each other at one point? It seems so cool. Like I said, I wanted to talk about it, but it was just I couldn't get to that point in Resident Evil fast enough for the video.
Yeah, I mean, I have never played a Resident Evil game in my life.
There's something wrong with you. You need to sit down and play one. You really do.
Good with horror.
Neither am I. You should have seen myself and my brother when we were playing Resident Evil 2. We were just fucking screaming like bitches.
Yeah. So
rock punching one. Yes.
Something that feels very appropriate to mention is how the origins of the digital world, as a system that was set up by researchers and hackers to create hyper-specific environments to basically facilitate Digimon evolving into forms themed around the data of those environments. This very heavily implies that at least one of them either dumped the disc or cartridge or whatever whatever the original one was released on. I'm not too familiar, as I mentioned.
Well, here's the thing.
Was directly involved with the development and actually uploaded either the dump or the original version to the digital worlds for it to exist in there, not only as an actual, what's it called?
Analog Man's a Resident Evil fan.
Analog Man is a Resident Evil fan. For some reason...
Here's what I wanted to say, alright? Is just look at, like, the time span of the games coming out or whatever, and the systems they were on. So Resident Evil, like, debuted on PS1, alright? Same with Digimon. So we had Digimon version S, which was just 100% just a VPET simulation. That's all it was. But whereas Digimon World expanded into like a JRPG open world you could explore, but also came out after Resident Evil, which was a very popular game at the time on the PlayStation. So it's kind of like, in my head, is Digimon trying to like adapt into like the new gaming world that's around, and like the one of the like most popular video games was Resident Evil. So Resident Evil being so popular influenced Digimon's, okay, we have to adapt to this, and that's where the mansion came from. But also so were RPGs at the time, which they got that open world RPG style map. So I don't know, that's kind of like where I kind of would almost think that it came from.
Yeah. I mean, another aspect to it is version S kind of taps into an aspect that we were going to mention later. But version S is specifically meant to be set in the era just before the release of the Digimon Virtual Pets, in which all of like tamers were using taming programs that eventually were uploaded into RV Pets, and the actual online network was both a way to directly access the digital world, to raise a Digimon on your personal computer system, and then proceeds to like, and then would proceed to like actually link over the internet for things like combat and that kind of stuff. Cypher points out something interesting.
I was just gonna say, yeah. Cherrymon says in game the new parts of the file line just randomly appeared one day, so maybe the Grey Lord's mansion appeared due to Resident Evil save data, which would make sense when you look at like just how the digital world from File Island is built up. If you look at the map, it's really random. Like you could be in a jungle at one point and then you're in a canyon, or you could be traveled back in time, back to like the age of dinosaurs, which again, you know, is like Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a lot of stuff that pulls in a lot of influence.
The PlayStation 1 uses a memory card for save data, so it would have access to that data.
Now I'm tempted to go back and see is there 15 types of areas, because there's 15 blocks on a memory card.
Oh my god, that would be insane.
I want to, but no. It's like, would File Island be like the hub world, like the PlayStation's like BIOS memory or whatever?
Yeah.
Said no. Love them invisible bridges. That's corrupted save data.
That's corrupted save data.
I don't know, I'm just taking the piss.
What if classic Golemon is actually just an enemy from a game that's the rest of the save data got wiped, and so it just has nothing left to render?
That's what it was actually. You know, that's kind of interesting. Is there any Digimon that could be like taken from another like game? Like, actually, that's another thing I said in the video, is like how like there was this experimental monster in the basement somewhere, like a secret lab, which is exactly like what's in Resident Evil. There's an underground secret lab, same as in the mansion, where you've got the Tyrant, or in Digimon, it's Skull Greymon.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder, are there actually Digimon that are based on different actual characters from video games? We've already got Wichelny, like, you know, Wizardmon.
Yeah.
Which one? We've got, what's his name? Nanamon from Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
So we've got, or if there's actually any video game influences.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised. One important aspect of that is that with the Witchelny Digimon, as well as an actual part of the Nightmare Soldiers Pendulum stuff, which technically would correlate to a degree with the area on File Island that involves the Grey Lord's mansion and stuff, is that they all kind of heavily imply that when a virtual entity that is not originally from the digital world comes to the digital world, that its data gets reinterpreted as if it was always a Digimon. And so the way it appears sometimes will change to reflect that. So, like, I believe the classic sprite for Wizardmon is just straight up from Magical Witches. I don't know for certain, but what I do know is that there is a hypothetical art style shift when Wizardmon comes to the digital world. Though, for Witch-Onlys in particular, that may have been, like, re-engineered to better represent the fact that it is now entirely assimilated into Digimon.
Well, I know Witchmon, if it's Witchmon, I think it is.
Yeah, Witchmon.
The sprite for Witchmon actually comes from Witch-Only, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Magical Witches
Like, it's
pets
100% that one.
had... Like, I know, like, at least either Witchmon or Wizardmon, I don't remember which one. But one of them
I know it was
definitely
Witchmon,
has.
but I'm just checking about Wizardmon because that one actually kind of interests me. See if
Yeah.
Wizardmon like comes from there.
But yeah, so, like... Also, while you're looking into that, Half Draggy says that Digimon World has 108 unique locations with names.
That's named areas, but what about biomes? I actually have the map here somewhere. I should probably just dig it out. It would be a lot easier just to count up all the biomes because they're all like highlighted so easy on the map. Go on.
And like Cypher mentioned, the Digital Monster version 5 are all based on kaiju from the Godzilla franchise.
I actually never see Godzilla was something I like Godzilla, but I never actually got into the other monsters that were around him. So I actually don't know much about that. And then even in the version 5, I just never really seen much of the Digimon. I can kind of vaguely guess what Digimon were on there, but I wouldn't actually know 100%. I think like Deltamon was one of them.
So
That's
like
about it.
the version 5, Digimon that we don't have direct parallel for would be the two rookies, Gazimon and Gizamon, and then one of the... I don't know if there's actually a parallel for Datamon, or Nanomon, whatever you want to call them. And the sprites are... the champion level Digimon are Dark Tyrannomon, which correlates to Godzilla. Then there's and the version 5 is distinct for having Digimon whose designs most deviate from their sprite art, which is how we know that these are definitely Godzilla sprites that got ported to a Digimon V-Pet. So we've got Godzilla in the form of Dark Tyrannomon. We have Flymon, Kunemon's champion, which is Mothra. Then we have Deltamon with its 3 heads, who the sprite is actually styled after Ghidorah. Then there's Raremon, which is based off of Hedorah. And then, what's the name of the last one? Cyclomon, which is based on... Again, I think his name was? Chat, correct me, because I'm probably wrong there. But then, for the actual... And then there's Tuskmon, which is based on Space Godzilla. Then there's... And then, in the perfect slot, there's Metal Tyrannomon, which is based off of Burning Godzilla. And then there is X Tyrannomon, which is based off of Godzilla, as in like the actual rubber suit.
Okay, 2 seconds there. I've seen a lot of shit come in. So I actually opened up the map there just to try and count them, but I swear to God, it was like trying to listen to you and count is just like it's not able to fucking my brain can do one thing and one thing only. But Bill actually broke down. Freezang, Gear Savannah, Native Forest, Blue Island, Gecko Swamp, Misty Trees, that's 6, Quilla Coast is 7, Tropical Jungle is 8, Donner Region 9, Amida Forest 10, Grand Canyon 11, and the what's that? Gredo's Mansion is 12. It's close to 15. I feel like there should be because I was looking at the map. I was getting about
the way
14.
Cypher broke it down, Coela Coast. Oh wait, Factorial Town. So that's 13.
Yeah.
So we would just need 2 more.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just me being dumb. Is Gecko Swamp? Have you added that?
They did add Gecko Swamp.
Oh, did you?
They mentioned Dragon Eye Lake and the slow and fast sections of
Infinity
Dino Region.
Mountain. Infinity Mountain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Infinity Mountain. That's 2 more. Dragon Eye Lake and Infinity Mountain. That would do it.
Oh yeah, Fanjamon was saying there about what you call it, the Flymon art.
Yeah. Let me pop over to there. I can't pull it up, unfortunately, because, like, I can't pull it up on
Yeah, I see it though. I see it. Yeah, I see it. I'm not too familiar with these things, but I can get what they were going for with the reference.
Yeah.
Because I am kind of aware of who Mothra is.
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of sick. I do like that they do pull influence from so much other things. So it's kind of like the same with the whole like Olympus 12 having like Greek mythology, Norse mythology, and all this sort of stuff coming in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that they do that.
All right. So now then, we've got plenty of stuff from Digimon World itself. So with Digimon World 2, it kind of just becomes a classic dungeon crawler, right?
Yeah, just pretty much just generic. Because there are like a lot of like dungeon crawlers. I'm not gonna lie and say like I'm familiar with a lot of like the older ones, but I do know a couple of them, like Fatal Labyrinth on the Sega. I would have known that one. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be too similar to that, but it wouldn't be too different. It's got like a similar kind of layout for like the random kind of dungeon layouts or whatever. But as far as like other dungeon things, they're just standard kind of things. Like actually, you know, I played was Hunter x Hunter had a dungeon crawler as very kind of similar to Digimon World 2, but it's just like it is a genre that's there, like that style of dungeon crawler. So I feel like again that could tie in with like the evolution and adapting of Digimon into a video game space.
Yeah. And so like I mean, I'm not particularly familiar with dungeon crawlers as like an actual.
I would know a couple of them, but they're more post Digimon World 2. Anything like that kind of predates that I wouldn't be too familiar with, because I think like Sega and PlayStation were kind of like where I first got into video games. So anything before that, where Digimon could have been like even then I wouldn't have had money for to buy every kind of video game or try every kind of video game back then either. So I mean, it's kind of like trying to go off the top of my head of what games match is just, it is a bit too much of a coincidence when you look back and you see how much things they pulled.
And so, like, then we get to Digimon World 3, which is basically Pokemon and gym battles.
But see, that's only an element. That's exactly the way they done it with Resident Evil's kind of like adaptation, where it's only a small element of the game, but it does break off into its own complete kind of like universe after that. I mean, it's got like the whole the I suppose would it be a Pokemon clone? Now that I think about it, like having it like an evil organization kind of like infiltrate or whatever the digital world or whatever. Would that be like Team Rocket? I suppose when you think about it.
I mean, but it's definitely a trope of Mon games in general, I'd say.
Oh well, it is. I mean, like you've got like the Rubber Robos over in Metabots were doing that at the time as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it is a thing that you see a lot.
The main example I'm thinking of is the various different evil teams from Fossil Fighters, but Fossil Fighters would not come out for a while because that's a DS exclusive RPG series.
Well, see, I was using Metabots as like a thing because that was out around the same time as these other games.
Yeah.
But Monster Rancher is kind of like a very different kind of a thing. That's kind of like pure VPET. There's no kind of like, you know, that's just pure raise a monster and battle it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just hard to draw comparisons between that one and other games. You can probably say that they stole VPETs from Digimon if you wanted to go that route. But no, I mean, even then, that's a bit of a stretch. Like,
yeah, maybe you could claim Tamagotchi, but I don't know.
Maybe. Mega Man Battle Network had an evil team, I think, too. Actually, that's another thing. What was it I was hearing? was a game that was very similar to Battle Network. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was a Digimon game. People were trying to say it was
one thing I do
very
know,
Battle Network-esque.
I was talking to Red the other day because we were talking about how Battle Network was a series I wanted to get into when the collection came out. And he mentioned that there was a Game Boy Advanced game which was basically themed, like, it was set in Battle Network, but rather than being an actual RPG, it basically turned your Game Boy into the PET, or whatever, like, which was basically their equivalent of a Digivice.
That's the one. Appmon, people are saying is. I know Draggy says it was Yokai, but yeah, that's one. When I was looking at kind of like information about Appmon, one thing I had come up a couple of times was how Appmon was kind of like Battle Network. Again, I've never played Battle Network, so I don't know too much about that one.
I've seen the gameplay for Battle Network because, like, a bunch of people who are into it have tried to get me into it, and I've failed on that front. But but basically, this is jumping ahead a few Digimon games. But this Game Boy Advanced game that emulated the PET basically themed itself on basically being like, it's like you are the one in the, like, you are in the universe, so you have your net navi, you have the ability to, like, connect to, like, online tournaments and stuff and fight in them, but it was a straight up, like, emulation of, like, what the PET was supposed to be, and I was immediately like, oh, so it's Digimon World Championship. Which is the one where you're literally using a DS as your taming system.
Championship is slept on. I hate that Championship is slept on so much. Because I mean, like, I would have loved gotten the sequel
so many times.
What's your opinion of it?
In concept, I love it and want more things like it. In practice, I have been terrible at it. And I have no idea what I'm doing, and it sticks so closely to... to the Data Squad IC era of evolution systems, which I have never been good with.
Well, see, here's the thing, is the DS games came out around the height of, like, the Data Squad or whatever that was out at that time.
Yeah.
And when you look at that as, like, all the games kind of tie into whatever anime was out at the time. Just kind of like, even I have Digimon World 4 here, which came out around the time of Frontiers. You see they use a logo from Frontiers. Same if you look at Digimon World 3's box art, they use a logo from the Tamers. Yeah. So they always kind of done that, just to kind of like give it that little bit of like, okay, you'll recognize this. Even if you play the DS games, you'll see Marcus and all them actually show up in those games. Yeah. That's the same thing with Championship, because it came out around those times as Data Squad. It uses a lot of those lines. But again, that's just down to, there was no other anime that came out for a while after Data Squad. You know, so they hadn't really put on with Cross Wars. Actually, I think I even have Digimon Adventure back there. I'm just going to double check this, because this is actually kind of nuts. I have it somewhere here. Just want to check this myself. Yeah, so here it is. This is like Digimon Adventure on the PSP, okay? But just so that like people could recognize it, they have a Cross Wars logo on the bottom.
Yeah.
Even though it's nothing to do with Cross Wars, it's just kind of mad, that they is. But that's what I'm saying, is like they like to use the brand recognition as like, okay, you have to, you know, this is what's gonna pull people in. Even though Digimon Adventure, everyone knows can stand alone as its own thing. Everyone recognizes it, but they still went to use the Cross Wars logo anyways.
Yeah, because like at that point, it's less adventure it's less Cross Wars making the connection to adventure. It's adventure making the connection to get people to watch Cross Wars.
Yeah, they even actually have the two, because they have them all there, but they have the two guys from the Cross Wars series on the back there as well. Yeah. So I mean, like you can tell they're really trying to push like, this is an anime that's out now. This is tied to that anime. Do check it out.
Yeah, yeah. And so like,
Digimon wasn't in the post game. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was in there. So it was like, but
so like,
even though he was only just post game, the game is Digimon Adventure. They still use Cross Wars, the logo, and actually call it Cross Wars.
Yeah. And so like, I definitely get that aspect. It's just that like, I have never been good at understanding, like, I've never been particularly great with the Data Squad era evolution system. I am terrible at raising things on my IC. And so, with the way that the DS game kind of, like, adds a bit more complexity to it, and doesn't, like, directly... And so, like, it adds a bit more complexity to it. You have to actually progress in the game in order to unlock the different, the different, like, items you need in order to raise certain stats to get certain evolutions.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, and so that combined with how different the actual interaction system is from the standard VPEG interactions.
I will say, you're looking forward to Next Order, yeah?
Yeah.
I hope you can get used to that system, because raising different stats and stuff, that's literally how you're going to get your Digimon to Digivolve in Next Order.
I'm familiar with, like, raising specific stat spreads. Like, I was trying with Redigitize. The reason I keep giving up on Redigitize is because every time I try to do something in Redigitize, I end up getting stuck with Greymon.
That's not a bad Digimon to get stuck with, though. He's a cool Digimon. I like Greymon.
Greymon's
It hurt my feelings.
No, there's nothing wrong with Greymon. I just personally do not... Like, I personally am like, okay, I've got Agumon as my starter partner. Don't have a choice on that. That's not too bad. But, like, out of Agumon Evos, my favorite always has been and always will be Tyrannomon. And no matter how hard I try,
I think
it always
for Tyrannomon you need
Greymon.
I think that's because you need a higher decode level.
Maybe. That might be the case.
I think that's what it is.
But I forget what it was, but I was just like, alright, I don't mind whichever one I get. I'm just gonna try and go for something other than Greymon. I want to have Greymon for this playthrough. And every single time, I would end up with Greymon. I tried like 3 separate times restarting.
Tyrannomon requires a lot of shrooms, the Shroom Lord. But no, here's the thing though, is you'll notice with every time they do these Digimon World games, here in Europe we got that game a lot later than the US even. I think we got it, like, it came out 2 years after the Japanese release and 1 year after the US release. We got Digimon World, the original one. Even then they done a lot of fixes and balances and stuff like that for our game. And that's another thing when it comes to World, like Redigitize, the original one came out, a lot of the issues was, and I found this myself playing Redigitize onto Decode, the Digivolution requirements are very tight on Redigitize. You could try for Greymon, you could end up with Angelmon because they're just that similar. But then when they come out with Decode, they kind of rebalance that, and they had to do the same again with Next Order. It's just, I think, as Habu was saying before, they're a hard game to develop for. So it's like these things can be an oversight just because of how unique it is.
It is
so like
a
they don't
unique
actually
style of game. It's interesting.
But that's what I'm saying, is like that they can overlook that because they're trying to look at how to develop the game and what mechanics to put in it, that they completely forget, oh, these stats are too tight. So every time, like even with Next Order on the Vita, when that came to the PS4, it got more rebalances in the stats because, again, some things were just too close. So I think that's just something they have to kind of, I know, is really focus on.
Yeah. And so, like, but yeah, I'm a bit better with the Digimon World spread of stats, but keeping track of 9 different experience bars for the different Digimon tribes that they have at that point, and trying to, and like, when I have to have like 2 separate guides up, one with the evolution guide, and one with which tribal DNA is generated by which tribal DNA is generated by which, like, training areas, and then which training areas I have access to.
I will say that is one thing with Championship. That's one gripe I have with it.
Yeah.
You can get addicted to just catching more Digimon, just to have like your area filled up as much as possible. But you always forget, I actually have to look after each and every one of these things.
Yeah,
When
no,
you've got
I had
when
like
you've got
a total
10
of like
baby
5
Digimon.
at the time. I've
If
not
that's it,
gotten very far.
if you have to focus on more than like 1 or 2 Digimon, you've got like 10 baby Digimon there. It's gonna get a little bit chaotic, especially with how often like they mess themselves or whatever, they need to be fed, or then you have to go into, you have to tell yourself to train them. They're not gonna tell you they want training. You have to tell yourself to train them.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget them, especially when you have duplicates. You're like, oh damn, which one were you? Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
one. Sorry,
then, like,
we went on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, no, that's standard here. Don't worry. So like, Digimon World 4 became like a roguelike, which is kind of interesting because
It's fun.
Yeah, and like,
but it's frustrating.
Yeah, it corresponds with the X era, and something really interesting about it corresponding with the X era is an aspect of the Digimon, the Pendulum X era, is that it added a new mechanic to the virtual pet, which...
Whoa, what's up with your stream there? What
happened?
It's hardly just me. It's just on the stream. It's like going all over the shop. Let's kind of fix this up now. It's just the way it looked. It was just like, what the hell was that? Everything got all jumbled.
Okay.
World Force is Shadow the Hedgehog of Digimon games. Funny you say that, Draggy. When I was streaming, here's what happened the other day. I was streaming Shadow the Hedgehog, and I says, this game sucks. It's not as fun as I remember. So I says, do you know what game I'm gonna play? It's World 4. So it's like I played the two of them. So yeah, I went from one game that was like the worst of the series to the other game that was the worst of the series. With that being said, I still enjoy World 4. It is still the worst Digimon game, but it's still enjoyable. Whereas Shadow the Hedgehog, I used to enjoy it. I thought I enjoyed it, but goddamn. We were talking about game influence in Digimon games, Digimon, but are there any gamer Digimon? If you go to Appmon, there's a lot of gamer.
Has quite a few gamer Digimon.
Roleplaymon.
According to Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, Galmon is a gamer Digimon.
Who?
Because there is a side quest in which a series of like online connected arcade cabinets for a fighting game actually gets completely overrun by Gaomon trying to fight both each other and the other players. And they're too good. And people are like, what the heck's up with this glitch? Who is this hacker who's like messing with the game system? It's not a glitch, it's not a hacker, it's an army of Gaomon.
No, that's... yeah, I believe there's probably some Digimon. Are we talking about like Digimon that are actually like based on like gamers or whatever? Is there any like controller style Digimon?
I mean, I don't know if we have any Digimon that are like explicitly based on the concept of a video game player, but as in like being based on video game concepts, we have quite a few actually. For example, the two Legend Arms Megas, Durandamon and Brywilutramon, explicitly receive data on legendary swords and shields, not only from mythology, but also from video games.
Expand.
So, for example, Durandamon could theoretically have data from various different video games versions of Excalibur, or it could be like, this is just like the number one like legendary sword that I think of when I'm not allowed to say Excalibur and thinking about video games is Frostmourne from the Warcraft series. But like basically different depictions of weapons that could be called legendary actually are data that's flowing into the digital world. So it becomes an aspect of that.
Here's something though. I mean, like, what makes a Legend Arms? Like, is this just a Digimon that can also double as a weapon? Is that basically a Legend Arms?
It is a Digimon which can essentially. How did I not think of the Master Sword? How did I not think of the freaking Master Sword as an example of a legendary sword in a video game?
Master Sword,
I
keep it,
literally
yeah.
had Zelda as the cartridge in my Switch before we started streaming, and I don't think the Master Sword.
You even said Zelda. I think you even said Zelda there at the start as well.
Yeah.
But no, because I was wondering, because like I know what's his name, Craniumon has a Cleave Solus, which is like an Irish mythological weapon. Do you know? This is like, would that not like qualify as like a legend arm, or is what I'm saying there is that literally just
it very
Digimon that's a
likely
weapon?
is derived from data about the mythological counterpart. I mean, the Royal Knights in particular are filled with mythological references, both accurate and completely inaccurate. Such as the fact, like, and no better example for that than Examon and its various King Arthur related names for different weapons that have nothing to do with their Arthurian counterparts.
Craniumon loves potatoes.
But a Legend Arms is explicitly a Digimon that can assume a weapon form on its own and can be wielded by another Digimon, but does not necessarily need any kind of actual evolution or fusion system in order for
Because that was my next question.
So,
about,
like, for
Mutamon.
example, there's the Cross Wars story games, which I'm still waiting for an English patch for because I really want to play those.
I love those games. I love those games so fucking much. They're so good.
But, so, Spatamon can be fused to the Shoutmon forms to create, a form where it's basically wielding it in its Lance mode. However, you don't need to Digicross in order for a Digimon to actually wield a Legend Arms. A Legend Arms can just assume weapon form and be wielded by another Digimon.
Okay, well that can be cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering about, like...
just to answer Half Dragon's question real quick, Examon is named after the concept of an exabyte, which is, I believe, one step higher than a terabyte. Or several steps higher than a terabyte. I don't know. As an American, I will be the first to admit I have very little understanding of the metric system beyond the King Henry died while drinking chocolate milk trick that they taught us in elementary school.
Yeah, I don't know. I see exabyte is there. It's throwing words at me. That's too much for me to read.
Yeah.
It's almost midnight. My reading capacity has gone out the window at this point.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've had a lot of stuff. I seen Tekken was brought up there, which we'll be revisiting Tekken in about probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot to talk about with Tekken, an awful lot to talk about with Tekken. What was the next thing we were talking about? We were on about World 4, I believe.
Yes.
You're going. Data Squad. I was gonna say.
Yeah. Data Squad. You said was very similar to Final
Actually,
Fantasy X.
we left a Rumble Arena on the PS1, which Rumble Arena took from like Smash Bros. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was like. Again, it wasn't. It's such a shame that it wasn't on Nintendo. It should have been on Nintendo, but it was on PlayStation. But again, it's like Digimon, I suppose, being on their little PlayStation kind of like corner, and they kind of like, let's expand and see what's going on in Nintendo's world. Oh, they do this thing called Rumble. Let's give our main characters some little fights there and just see how we get on. But I think the Rumble series is good. I kind of want them to go back to that. All-Star Rumble was a bit, yeah. Data Squad, I'm pretty sure, isn't a real game. Data Squad, I still need to play Data Squad. I've seen bits and pieces about it, but from what I can gather, it's literally Final Fantasy X. But with Digimon. It's not a real game.
Yeah.
There is a lot of stuff in Data Squad that you could question, like, is this real? But I assure you 100% it is a real game, despite it not coming out in Europe. Again, this is a trend. Europe never got half the Digimon games the US got, and I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I should have been born over in the US.
It's, I mean, like, I mean, it's true, and it sucks, but my, how the turns have tabled. Because...
The turns have tabled? The tables have turned?
Because you guys are getting the BE before we do.
Well... That's one thing, but even then, I think
you're getting the most advanced virtual pet that we've ever seen, and
you got the VV, or you got the VB, the Digivice V. We had to struggle with the VB while you had the Digivice V in the form of the VH.
You can go
in
outside
fairness,
in the rain, and your Digimon is fine.
Well, to be fair, it makes sense. It makes sense that they brought the BE to us first, because if we went outside with our VBs and VHs, they're just going to melt because it rains so often here in Ireland. I mean, like,
yeah, that's a good point.
I can't, you know. So it's obviously, like, yeah, if we're going to bring anything over there, let's just skip this and just give them the good device because they kind of need that. So it's kind of a fair trade, kind of.
Yeah, that's a fair trade.
I would prefer to get more Digimon games, so I won't lie.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the fact that Next Order is getting a port is a very good sign on that front.
Well, I'm hoping that means that they're testing the waters, see how well loved is the World Games, because you have to look at it this way. Next Order is the first time we've got a Digimon. I literally live in Florida, where you get fucking hurricanes and everything. But yeah, what was I going to say? We were talking about... Oh, Draggy, you lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
You lost my train of thought, Draggy. I hate you. What were we talking about?
We did
talking
Rumble,
about a game there. And I was...
Then Data
Rumble,
Squad
yeah.
is Final Fantasy X. Our next game is Dawn and Dusk.
There's gone. It's gone. Dawn and Dusk, again, they obviously went to a DS, a Nintendo handheld console, and they literally took the mechanics of a famous Nintendo handheld video game.
Yeah, yeah. One thing of note is how so Dawn and Dusk are sequels to Digimon World DS.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the first, and then like after that they also have sequels in Lost Evolution. Actually, it wasn't called Digimon World DS. It was called Digimon Story. It got translated as.
We
Digimon
skipped Rumble
World
Arena
DS.
2. That's Smash Brothers 2.
Yeah. But,
they didn't learn much when they went to Rumble Arena 2.
Yeah.
They just said, okay, let's do the same old thing again.
Yeah. But so like, you're right in that key aspects from those games are kind of just continued on.
Well, they're continued, but they also
they continue on from DS, which is taking from Pokemon, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, but they also reworked the Pokemon ideas that they got, I suppose, with the trading or whatever. Like, trading would just get you Digimon that you couldn't normally get. They didn't really do much else. There was a breeding system as well, but the weird thing with the breeding system... Sorry, I hit my mic. The weird thing with the breeding system was you had to breed with another tamer. You couldn't breed to your Digimon. You had to send your Digimon to another tamer's device to breed that Digimon. You could also train your Digimon. Like, this is their daycare method outside of the farm island. Was you could send your Digimon to another person's console and have them trained there. Which, if I'm right, and you didn't get your Digimon back, that Digimon would take up a slot on their farm forever. because I don't think you could move that Digimon. You couldn't claim that Digimon as yours. It wasn't actually traded. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think you could really screw someone up if you just send them an extra Digimon over there. Is okay. Well, you could have 8 Digimon over there, but now you can only have 7
Yeah.
because my guy lives there now.
But yeah, so they definitely take from Pokemon. Another aspect that those games kind of tie into, because in addition to the DS story games, there is one concept, there is one game on the DS era that was a genuine Digimon World game to a degree, and that is Digimon World Championship, like we mentioned earlier. Which, in addition
Draggy
to
brings
having...
up a very while we're on it, Draggy brings up a very good point. How does Digimon breeding even work?
So, I mean, I
Would
never
they
did it in
use the binary
Dolores.
code of
I
two
imagine it would
Digimon?
be it would
Oh, I
probably
used-
be taking the data from both Digimon and recombining it in some way.
Well, that's basically what would happen. There was I can't remember, but offhand, I remember there was a load of different eggs, and depending on the Digimon you mixed, you got different eggs. So maybe it was you needed a specific binary code mixed between 2 different Digimon to get that specific egg. Maybe I don't know, but that's kind of what comes to mind. It's been years since I've done the breeding mechanic on that because it's just been lonely me playing DS games.
The important thing
brother
to
stopped playing
remember
that
about
a long
Digimon
time ago.
games is that they take the Shin Megami Tensei approach of your monsters are not your friends. Even though the game story will tell
Pretty
you
much.
otherwise, the fact that you can take Digimon that you've converted from data, just born, and immediately throw them into into the equivalent of a data grinder, grind them into binary, and feed that to your existing Digimon in order to make them stronger, proves that this series has no care for what you actually do with your partners. Please treat your partners responsibly. We do not need another instance of a Demon Lord realizing how fucked up that situation is and trying to do something about it.
Could be a combination of their waste product to create new Digimon. That would just get you a Sukamon or a Platinum Sukamon, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about
just
Sierra,
two
though, so
I
it
just
could probably
have-
be Burtmon.
I just have the image of 2 Digimon just cramming their shit together to make one giant Sukamon. That's just all just come into my mind. That was awful. Draggy, thanks for that image. Anyways,
Yeah.
we did skip Digital Card Battle. I don't know were there any card games that are out at the time? Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh, but
I mean,
that wasn't really a
Card
video
Battle
game.
is quite literally just a virtual simulation of... Card Battle is literally just a virtual simulation of the actual Digimon card game, isn't it?
No, it's a very different card game.
Oh, okay. What was it based on?
It's its own game. It's based on its own thing. It's
Oh.
its own game. It's really weird. So the Digimon card game has had so many iterations, but every one of them were different. It had Hyper Coliseum over in Japan, came over here as Digital Card Battle. Even though the game over here was called Digital Card Battle, it was a different game as well. They also had the anime cards, which had their own gameplay. They had what was it? Actually, the Digital Card Battle game had a sequel over in Japan, which we never got, and it had a certain Agumon with a certain mustache. If you remember him, I don't know if you know of him.
I'm familiar with that.
Well, yeah, he debuted in that card game, and that's probably why we never seen that game over here. I blame him.
Probably.
And it, but yeah, that actually also really weird. They had Babamon in that one in Gigimon's house
Yeah.
from World 1. So I suppose it's probably an expansion of that where Digimon says, okay, let's have a card game. They probably
Yeah.
wanted to play poker, and then they got sucked into Digimon cards.
It's
But
an alternate
Digimon World
universe
3
where-
has
It's an alternate universe where Lucamon won the rebellion against Yggdrasil, removed the combat instinct, and replaced it with a card game instinct instead.
But Digimon World 3 has almost like a duelist kingdom kind of thing going on as well, where you collect cards and like you could battle people's Digimon, or you could also play cards against them in the field.
Oh.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was still a fun card game, but it was just really, really weird. But yeah, their card games have been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
This new card game to have is the most consistent thing they've done.
It really is.
As far as
It's almost weird how consistent it is.
I like it though. I like it. I
is
mean, they are
good.
changing the rules an awful lot. With every set, they introduce a whole set of new rules to the point
That's
now where they have
very
to go back
consistent with
and
modern card
like
games,
retcon
though.
the whole game. I suppose it is. I haven't played a whole lot of card games. I play Yu-Gi-Oh, but even then, if you look at that, that's changed so much over the years too.
Yeah, no, like,
Isn't the PS1 card game based on Hyper? No. There's a Hyper Coliseum game on the WonderSwan. I've played that, and if you play that next to this new one, I don't think it's anything like that at all. Because you've got in Hyper Coliseum, you've got a health bar where you've got like 100%. You take one random card off top of your deck, and that's kind of like your health bar. I forget how it works exactly, but when that health bar is 0, you're dead. But I think in Digimon card game, you had to destroy 3 of your opponent's monsters. I think it was something like that. So yeah, there was no health bar, but it was kind of like, I can see what you're saying. There was some similarities with like your power up cards or whatever, but it was its own completely different game. I wonder who at Bandai thought to do that. With the card games. It's also funny kind of how Sonic Frontiers is being more talked about than the God of War. I honestly, I still need to play the original God of War. I was talking to a friend of mine today, IRL news kind of saying, he's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the new God of War. I was like, I still need to play the original. I wouldn't mind. I was talking to him last year, and I says, oh yeah, I'll get on that. I own the game. I have God of War, I just haven't touched it. I have so many games here I just haven't touched yet. Weirdest part of World 3 is Pigmon, who is literally an inverted human according to the game. See now, what is Pigmon? Pigmon is it's a weird thing that happens in 3, but I want to see, is it actually a Digimon? Or okay, I see Pigmon and I looked it up, and what's coming back to me is cursed. What is this? Ultraman. What? That's the thing. There's literally one of him like with a witch's hat. I think it is. It's just cursed looking. No, that's giving me nightmares. Everyone expected God of War to be good. Sonic Frontiers being good is the talk-worthy surprise. Here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, like I haven't played Frontiers, but I've been hearing it's supposed to be very good.
Literally just before this stream started, I was watching my friend Digishell, and she was playing the new Sonic game. It actually looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at it at all. I seen the first gameplay. I was like, nah, this is not for me. I don't get on great with 3D Sonic games, anyways.
Oh, it's
called
Oinkmon.
Oinkmon. Pigmon, Jesus.
Human players of the Digimon Online video game were turned into Oinkmon by the evil organization AOA. Once they were transformed, the AOA could continue its agenda mostly unresisted.
In Japan, it's called Boomon, apparently.
Yeah.
Prior forms, humans without a matrix data. Okay, so humans can digivolve. If we don't spirit digivolve, we're just gonna turn into pigs.
I feel like this is a reference to that one character from Greek mythology, Circe, or Kirke, depending on how it's pronounced, I don't know. But her whole thing was that she would turn men into pigs. So, like, maybe it's supposed to be a reference to that.
Don't know 100%.
It might be a reference to something in Japanese mythology, though, too.
Chohakaimon, to be fair, it would be a nice rookie form for that.
Yeah? I mean, Chohakaimon is actually a really interesting Digimon because it's basically a fallen Anguimon that didn't get turned into a demon Digimon.
So it's not a Fanimon fall down mode?
No. Hold on, let me pull it up.
I just looked at it there really quickly. I've had it. It's on one of the VPads. I think it's a DMX for some reason.
Yeah, it was on the DMX version 1 Lite. I used it as a perfect often. It was originally an angel species Digimon, but it committed a crime that incurred the wrath of the Vtuber and was banished from the heavens.
Anyways,
I wonder if that's supposed to be a Journey to the West reference.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue.
Yeah, maybe. But let's see, which set of games are we on now? We just finished the DS era.
We were talking about the DS ones, yeah. We were talking about Dawn and Dusk. Zan avoid having his mind being launched into. No. The last stream, like his head exploded after stream.
Yeah,
no one's heard of him.
Last time, Xana's brain took him with it. He's still being recovered by NASA. So we have Trax here today instead.
The alien came down. It's like, just to deliver the news. They found him, he's fine. He's just stuck in a crater. But he will be back next week. Oh, she illegally downloaded Dragon Ball GT. But no, Xana's fine. His head is stuck in a crater.
Yeah.
They're trying to find the rest of it. It's like half his head is in a crater, the other half of his head is on the other side of the moon. There's another piece of him has gone into another galaxy somewhere, but we're going to find every bit of him. He's getting there. He'll be back here next. Yeah. God damn it! The Vimon is interrupting me. I don't like it. Go sleep. There we go. They're both sleeping. That should be fine. Awesome. But yeah, what were we talking? Yeah, we finished up with Dawn and Dusk.
So
now here's where it gets a little bit iffy because we got Lost Evolution and the Crosswords games.
Yeah.
It's like this is where it's completely just Japanese games for a while because we haven't.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't got them over here.
Efforts. I believe the efforts are either almost complete or 100% complete.
For Lost Evolution.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to that game. I haven't played that one yet. I think when I play it would be when the translation drops. I am interested in, or I have played the Crosswords games. It was very tough to kind of like see where they pull. It seems like it's literally just taking the anime and just again reborrowing the whole Pokemon thing with their red and blue. You know, because literally Crosswords Red, Crosswords Blue, and they're doing the exact same thing the other previous story games done. So I think like they kept with that theme. That's one thing with Digimon. I love that they get very experimental, but when they got to the DS, I found that they lost all kind of like ambition to try new things. They found something that worked, and it just says, "Okay, let's stick with this." Yeah. Which is a shame because when. Like we were just talking about the history of all the games. We had a card game, we had like JRPGs, we had VPets, we had dungeon crawlers, we had roguelikes. There was so much different things that just when you see them just settle, it was kind of like, you know. Now at the same time, they had just taken on Habu as like the main producer of their games as well. Maybe he was just wanting to find his feet. I would not be surprised
if it was an A team B team scenario like there was with the VB versus the Penzi, where the Crosswords games were possibly produced by a B team while Habu got the A team stuff, because I'm fairly certain that Crosswords received a fairly similar reaction in Japan as it did in the English speaking world. So
oh yeah, I've seen it was just shot all over here.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know much people. When Crosswords came out over here, I don't know a whole lot of people that are really into it. Now, in saying that, this was around the time I'm only getting back into Digimon. Do you know? So it was like, I'm still kind of finding my feet on where Digimon are at that point. So I'm not too sure on like how the fan base was at that point. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. I didn't fully get back to like everything going on with Digimon until like redigitized a little bit later.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. When I got back into Digimon, it was actually just around the time a little bit after Hacker's Memory came out. Because I had gotten into it because of a VPET emulator. And
wait, what VPET emulator? What VPET
Digimon
emulator?
Unlimited.
Oh, were you playing that?
I was playing that.
Oh damn, that was a long time ago. I remember that. Did you know Poke-AK?
So when I got into Digimon Unlimited, Poke-AK was no longer active. It was the I got into Digimon Unlimited in what was essentially its equivalent of a
What was your name on there? What
post-apocalyptic
was your name on there? Do you remember?
Blue Dragon 1220.
I was Tweaker on there.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, 'cause, I was literally there all the time. You know, they had that little chat room. That was like the best VPET thing they had going. Was it Bullzipke was the one developing? That was insane. I did a video on that.
Yeah, I actually got the chance to like talk to him once a little bit, because after Poke-AK stopped and I actually got into Digimon Unlimited, I made a Discord server that got a little bit popular, and I don't remember what it was called. It was like Digimon Unlimited Network or some shit. And it was just a hub for tamers who were like, we still play this game, even though there's no support for it anymore. And
yeah, I do remember a Facebook page, alright, that I was part of. I didn't really know Discord being a thing back then, but I was kind of like, social media and me just don't go together anyways. I mean, I have social media pages. Do I use them? No.
Yeah.
But I have them.
Yeah,
I'm just not a very social person. Yeah, I love Digimon Unlimited. It's madness, because like the more I'm getting into Digimon now, the more I'm mixing with the Digimon community, the more I see people that I possibly interacted with over in Digimon Unlimited, which is mad, because that was such a great game. It's such a shame it went.
So good. I honestly think that as a successor to it, in terms of being a somewhat cell phone-based virtual pet for Digimon, the Vital Brace comes close, but not until we get that PvP app is it going to be on par.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Actually, I got a comment there. I can't remember which video it was. It was a few months back. I actually got a comment off of Poke-AK on one of my videos as well, which is mad.
Hearing about that.
I was so happy. It was like I had Casp come by on it was at the end of one of his streams. Casp, one of my favorite kind of like review guys for Digimon games. Like his reviews on Digimon games, just they're so entertaining. Yeah. But it was like I remember he came by on Pocket Station stuff, and it was like, oh, that was madness. Just because Casp was like one of my favorite of any small YouTuber. He's one of my favorites. Like,
yeah.
Anyways,
it's crazy how interconnected this fucking community
But yeah,
is.
it's like Digimon Unlimited was such a sick game. It's a shame that went the way it went.
So, like, a funny story about that. If
Spademon
not
was
for
created by
Digimon
Habu's
Unlimited
request,
and
apparently.
the creation of the Discord server that I was in for it, Online and World wouldn't have happened. And it's only because Online and World happened that I met Zena and Air from Lost in Translation Mon, and even decided to do YouTube. So I am only here because of Digimon Unlimited.
I can't remember how I met them.
Yeah.
It was like a while back, but yeah, I was seeing Draggy has what's that? Spademon was created by Habu's request, apparently. That isn't actually true. There's also
design.
Habu has asked for a lot of Digimon to be made, like Titamon and Rustaranamon, because he's seen like some of the oldest Digimon that haven't had complete lines. He's like, okay, I feel like these need a complete line, so he got Titamon and Rustaranamon made as well for them. So that's actually kind of sick. I like that. That's one thing I love about Habu. How much he loves.
The fantastic thing about
does.
Habu is that he wasn't a Digimon fan, and then he ended up being in charge of Digimon and became one of the greatest Digimon superfans ever. Because he's just the embodiment of the meme of like, I've only had Digimon for 5 minutes, But if anything happens to it, I'll kill everyone in this room and then myself.
But that's what I love about Habu though. It's
That's
just
what
that
makes
like
him
how
so
much.
great.
But it's just like we could have anyone develop these Digimon games. I don't think they put half the effort into them. Do you know? It's gonna be a sad day when Habu stops like producing for Digimon.
Bold of you
That's
to
gonna be a
assume that
very,
Habu is
very
going to
sad.
let anything stop him from developing
To what?
for Digimon.
Hey, you're breaking up there.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I assume you're saying that
Bold of you
he's
to
going to
assume
stop.
that Habu will ever stop. Habu will defy death itself in order to keep making Digimon.
I hope so, because that man cannot miss. Every game he comes out with is a hit. And he worries so much. This is what bothers me about like the World games. He made the story games mainline games. Like World is no longer mainline.
Well,
It's no
the
story.
way that it was meant to be done was that they were going to kind of like alternate. It was going to be world, story, world, story.
Well,
From what I
see,
heard.
here's what he said. I've been digging through old interviews and shit for
okay.
like videos and stuff. And the thing was, he says, this is actually, I think, maybe 2 years ago or a year ago. He says, story is now the mainline series. World, he's just not sure how to approach. So that's why he hasn't really done that with it. And that's why I think it's important that Next Order, the ports, get a lot of attention, because I feel like that might motivate him to look into him
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
kind of like just expand on his ideas. Because as you can see, like from what we're hearing, these ports are only getting like little. They're not game changing updates like the PS4 got. They're just kind of like you can run now. It's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
That's it. But I feel like if this gets support, he might revisit, like he wants to revisit the original Digimon World, build on that, you know, and work away with that. He says he also wants to revisit Digimon World, but maybe have it take place in another part of the digital world, not File Island, but go to the Folder continent and do something somewhere
Oh
else.
my god, a
which
Digimon
would be interesting.
game
I'd
set
love to
on
see.
Folder?
That would be
insane.
awesome. Like, could you? That's I don't know. It's like some of the stuff that this was all said as well at Digimon Con, which is such a shame. People had expectations when they watched Digimon Con. I'm guilty of this myself. That when Habu came on and says we couldn't do that, couldn't do that, they missed all the like eggshells, like fucking like hints that he was dropping about all these other projects he had in the work. That no one paid attention. Like the fact he's working on an MMO, a Digimon MMO, that could probably take over as Digimon Masters, and if this is developed by Habu, to be one of the best Digimon MMOs ever, possibly, just because it's developed by him.
I am
So, I don't know.
psyched for the idea of a Digimon MMO under Habu's control.
But see, I just want something that's not Masters. I was going doing a video just talking about shit about like what I wanted to do with it, but it's like I don't know. It's not something that would make sense anyway. So like I can list off some shit here. I just don't want him to make it like full of microtransactions like what Master's done.
Yeah.
With the way Habu approached,
I feel like
do you remember?
Habu, I feel like Habu is the kind of person who, even if there were microtransactions in the game, it would end up being purely cosmetic ones that are like funding it instead of a subscription or something. As opposed to like Digimon Masters.
Well, here's the thing: is like if he goes throughout making an MMO, I wonder would he have enough knowledge in MMO to know how to actually make one? Because from what he said about the MMO, they're only looking into like this is back in 2017, I think. So it's quite a while ago. They probably have gotten way further since, but they're only looking into how they should approach it. You know, because they it's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's a completely new thing for them. But my idea is that an MMO would make so much sense just because, like you were saying, Habu wants to be able to go world story, world story, world story. But if he can work an MMO in this kind of way, where it's like he has world, story, survive, and then in between those, just drop expansions for the MMO.
Honestly,
Then he has a constant flow of video games.
honestly, I would not be against World becoming the MMO. Because one thing I did learn from working on the fan project world with the Zero is that Digimon World as a game structure actually very much lends itself to the idea of a massively multiplayer online game.
Well, that would actually tie up nicely to go into our chats about Redigitize.
That it would! Because if you look at the lore for Redigitize, it's just straight up the idea of a Digimon MMO.
Actually, I have the mangas here for Redigitize. It actually starts off, I find even the first panel, they're just logging into their game. Where the fuck are you gone? They're literally just logging into the game to play it online. Akiho being like the best player in the world. Can't remember her name, the Russian dude Nico and Taiga being like friends that play it together. That's literally what it is. It's literally just an MMO. And when you go to the PvP section of that game, they're just battling other people that are playing the game online.
Yeah.
So it's literally just an expanded MMO that they got actually sucked into themselves.
Yeah.
Was it Masters Longevity though? Bandai, I'm just reading Fandermon's comment here. Bandai's track record with online mobile games is fast and hard and shut down. That's very true. That's very true, because I remember playing like the mobile games. Heroes, I had a lot of fun with Heroes. What was it? The Lynx, I had a lot of fun with Lynx. When they shut down Lynx and Heroes, I was devastated.
Yeah.
So when they brought out Re-Arise, I'm not even getting into this because I know what's going to happen here. And lo and behold, bye-bye Heroesmon. You know, like 2 years later. It was shit, but it is what it is.
Half-Strike, you're absolutely right. How have we never gotten character customization in a Digimon game?
We've got custom Digimon.
Yeah.
Can we count that? We got custom Digimon. But yeah, custom characters. Karen actually posted about this not too long ago on Twitter. And that's the thing I says I would like to see, is just be able to customize my character an awful lot more. But I think with Digimon, they like to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we don't get customizable characters. The characters are personal to that story. So when we see people like, I think the closest thing we got was, their names are falling out of my head at the moment, but the two protagonists, male and female protagonists from Cybersuit.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the most kind of customizable characters
kind of
that
gave
we've
the
had
most
there.
customizability because you could at least go and change like the shirt. But
you couldn't change. If you notice, like, you couldn't. Unlike in Pokemon, you can't change facial features. It can change like a whole lot. You know, it's literally just the clothes they wear.
It's literally
that's because
it's literally just the T-shirt you're wearing. And
to
add to that, in the next game, Hacker's Memory, there's only one player character option.
Yeah, but that's because it's literally that the story they're wanting to tell, and this is the thing with the Pokemon characters. They're trying to tell a story of this particular person. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like following an anime or a series or whatever. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do. Whereas Pokemon is like, it's your adventure, so you make your character whatever way you want to be in that world. Mm-hmm. I want Digimon to go that route and kind of do something like that. Mm-hmm. It would be fun to see them do that. Now, again, because Digimon is more of a narrative pushed kind of a franchise. Mm-hmm. Probably won't be for a while, which would be unfortunate. But you never know, if like fans speak up enough about it, they probably would do it. Because let's face it, Bandai, as much as we bitch and complain about Bandai, they actually do listen to us an awful lot. I mean, look at how quickly we got the VB over here. The card game, we got the card game over here like less than a year after its Japanese release. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, you can see how much Bandai wants to listen. Even with talks I've had with Bandai myself, they really listen to us. Like, Bandai asked me for like my feedback. They asked for my audience's feedback. You know, they do care about what we think, despite what people do think of whatever Bandai be saying. They actually genuinely do care enough that we can actually see it. Like, you know, all I want them to start bringing mangas over. That's my thing, so they don't have to learn another language to be able to read them as they come out. But
unfortunately,
that's literally the only thing I can kind of like blame them.
I think there was a Discord conversation about this.
I was talking to, who was it said that to me there the other day? I can't remember. It was on Discord.
Yeah.
It was on Discord. Someone explained it to me. It's very different.
Yeah, but like basically the manga rights are a bit more difficult to get localized.
As far as New Century, I have no clue about that game. The universe does not want me to play New Century, and it's such a shame.
The universe doesn't want any of us to play New Century, and that is a terrible thing.
No.
But I mean, the Mons are getting added to the reference book, so it's not like they'll stay exclusive to the game forever. If Blucomon's an example.
Actually, speaking of the manga, that ties up for the next game, Cyber Sleuth.
Right. So,
do you have the screenshot? Are you able to pull that up, or?
Let me
It probably doesn't matter. We can explain it, and people can go look up for it because it's like literally right at the start of the game. So
you know what I can do? I can take the screenshot and I can actually post it in the.
I have the screenshot here. Of
my Discord, which is a shameless
I have it here.
Discord in the description.
Hey, post your Discord in the chat there. Anyone listening who's just joining, then keep in the loop with you. That's what.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do, anyways. You should set up a chat bot or something to be able to do that like every half an hour. I've been meaning to do it, but I'm just dumb.
Yeah.
But I shall post this here, and you guys can have a look. But if you look, this isn't Hacker's Memory. This is over in the
opening cutscene of Hacker's Memory.
You can see as Kazuke is passing through the Keisuke.
Yeah.
As he's passing through the cafe, there's a V-Tamer manga, but on the right there's an Encode manga, which Encode everyone knows. This one right here is literally redigitized. It's the manga for redigitized. The picture at the back is literally the back of Volume 2. As the Galmon in purple Galmon for whatever reason. But you can actually see it clear as day there. And here's what's really interesting. And myself and Azure have been kind of talking about this. And this is why I wanted to just come back to the whole Tekken thing too. So redigitized. We all know Tekken exists in redigitized because we had Lily come in with her new Mon. The other thing about redigitized, it's a manga here, so it's some form of media, same as Tekken is in Cyber Sleuth. But then we have where lines get blurred because we've got Mirai and Rina, who are two characters from redigitized that exist in Cyber Sleuth, and as Azure pointed out to me earlier, is our real world. And we can tell it's our real world because look at the character or the places and all. Everything that's placed in Cyber Sleuth is real places in our world right now that we live in IRL. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, I'm fucking running out of breath here. But yeah, what I'm saying is I like.
Exactly. It implies Draggy. It implies it being a video game in universe. And so
the super implies it being a video game universe. That's what we're trying to say, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it is an MMO that they're playing.
Yeah.
But that means hold on. Oh shit, no. That lines up the dots perfectly. Because Taiga plays this video game in the real world. When he got taken into redigitized, but then Taiga is a character in Cyber Sleuth in the manga.
Okay. So, I have not revealed this part to you yet, but I do have a theory about how this works. And that theory is this. In Digimon Lynx, you may remember the character Hina. As in the tamer girl who basically taught you shit and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know Hina.
Yeah. Hina is a tutorial program that is consciously aware of her position as a tutorial program to teach new tamers about the digital world. If that is the case, then there is precedent for the digital world to incorporate some kind of simulated character or artificial intelligence that is meant to resemble a human instead of a Digimon. Then we have all of the multi-dimensional shenanigans involved in the video games. Mirai, Rina, I believe Saya was the name of the Dusk protagonist when she showed up in Cyber Sleuth.
Yes, it was, yeah. Sayo, yeah. Sayo.
We've got Tekken characters showing up. The implication here, I believe, and you kind of hinted towards this with the earlier stuff, what if rather than just taking in aspects of video games and incorporating them into the digital world, each video game in and of itself is a digital world, possibly consisting of a parallel pairing of a digital world and then a simulated human world serving as its counterpart in order to try and essentially have a simulation of what occurs when Digimon have partners, possibly as some kind of attempt by the host computers to find a way to replace actual tamers.
I'm sorry, my mind just went because it kept fucking breaking up there. I think I missed half of that, but it sounded extremely interesting and it's really bothering me.
Okay, just shortly reiterate.
It was literally just towards the end there, just as you were finalizing the point.
Yeah. What if all of the video games are just simulations and digital worlds in their own right?
Well, that would explain then why File Island is broken up the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were saying earlier, this is literally like the 15 save slots, the 15 pieces of the island.
Mm-hmm. But
That's
then
madness.
when we get to games with human characters, they're just like Hina. They're programs designed to essentially be virtual humans.
Oh shit! Yeah, because then you got Lily, who's pulled in from Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
Who is a video?
Not so much that Redigitize is canon to Tekken, but rather that Tekken, that the character from Tekken was brought into the digital world and then programmed into a full-on artificial intelligence based on the character.
Yeah. Oh, mad.
And then we get to things like Survive and like basically the digital world itself is starting to simulate the existence of tamers of different personality types in order to examine the effect they would have on a Digimon.
That's absolutely nuts. I like what they do. That was like just damn. It makes a lot of sense, though. It makes an awful lot of sense.
And the best part is the implication there for Mirai goes from she's some kind of weird interdimensional traveling deity to she is what is essentially the virtual equivalent of a human being partnered to Mastamon, whose specialty is being able to open gateways between digital worlds, and she is abusing that power in order to basically play God and manipulate the strings behind the scenes of various different digital world simulations. Which lines up with her actual position as the freaking menu screen which starts you off in the complete edition of Cyber Sleuth, as she displays the stories to you, asking you which path you'd like to take or revisit.
That's just fucking nuts. I was wanting to look as well. The whole thing with Gigo, because that's the company she worked for, right? The games company she worked. Is Gigo is that anything in Cybersuit that relates to Gigo? Because that's something I kind of like been interested in. I just haven't actually got around to looking into. Because I feel like I've probably seen it somewhere. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Akibahara Sega Arcade is rebranded to Gigo. This happened this year. Oh, okay.
Wait,
so do you remember the Sega building?
The rename
yes.
of the Sega building was to Gigo.
Yes.
Yes.
I just clicked it. Gigo, the video game company in this, are they the actual company? Because we says that like Cybersuit is part of our world.
I have been joking
IRL
for ages now that Bandai Namco and Sega were like dating or something with the amount of like potential with the amount of friendship and handshaking these two companies
have.
That's
fucking mad.
And they literally
Oh, that's mad. Gigo are the people who made.
Attention, MONSPIRACY viewers. We are never having a script again. Unscripted streams are just too good.
I just typed it. I was looking for Gigo. I forgot that. I remember when that came out. I kind of like said some shit. It's like, oh yeah, that was the same thing or something. I think it was in fucking Discord there a long time ago. It was like, what happened? It was like, oh, it's the brand from fucking. What you call it? Redigitize. I posted a screenshot or whatever that page where he's talking about it, and it was like, okay, never thought nothing else of it. Yeah. But now we're saying like, Cybersuit is our universe. Gigo, the makers of Redigitize, the game that's in it.
All we need is for the development of the Digimon MMO to in some way involve the people from Phantasy Star Online 2. And that will mean that Sega, aka Gigo, is developing a Digimon MMO in which tamers around the world are fighting.
You have one massive build out of this. Oh man, that's nuts.
Half Draggy, the people who made Kowloon in Cyber Sleuth. The entire Eden system was created by Kamishiro Enterprises. It was not Gigo, but I don't know
Google
if
and see what company. Now I want to see what Kamishiro been up to. Is that a real Japanese company? Are Bandai onto some stuff?
Kamishiro Enterprises.
Fuck off and let me just type. It's so late and my hand-eye coordination does not work. I'm not quite getting anything. I won't lie. Kamishiro Rui cards, whatever the fuck that is. Project Sekai fandom. I don't know. I have no clue what this is. And to be honest, I can't be bothered either anymore.
Yeah. I'll look into it later.
The whole Gigo thing. The whole Gigo thing is just already massive enough. When the MMO on the phone.
I mean, first we proved that Lucemon. First we proved that Lucemon is freaking hero of the entire digital world. Then we find out that Gigo is a real freaking company. Haven't heard shit about what's going on in the digital world since the Penzies. Only thing we've gotten since then is the Vital Bracelet system, which is now expanding to include IPs outside of Digimon.
I wanted to talk about this. So, if you look in Redigitize, okay, they're playing a game on the phone where they're doing battles and stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
That is the VB. I'm gonna say it. That is the VB. Taiga's playing a game on his phone. He's checking on his Agumon, and they're doing these online battles, which is what they're playing in Redigitize. That's their VB. That is their VB. So what we are now
100%.
is we're living in redigitized.
Yep.
Yeah, was the MMO on the phone? What else was on the phone? The Arena app. So basically, it was their VPET, which they mined and fed and all that, and they digivolved the battle online. That's what the game was, which is, like it says, the VB.
Why has everything since fucking Saturn been this fucking future-proofed?
I don't know. I don't know. What the hell did they be doing? Oh man. I need to ask fucking Bandai what have they been up to? Who do they have working for them? Who is Gigo? I want to know. Did you watch? There will be some.
Draggy, shut up! Draggy, shut up! Don't you dare! Don't you dare go there!
You know what else? Each of them have VPETs on their arms. They do. They have the thing. Can I find there?
They have
yeah, you see there,
thing.
like he has a.
The little
also,
wrist attachments that
I
we
want
were
to point
all
out
3D printing and buying for people off Etsy before the VB came out.
I do want to also point out, here we have like Vmon, who's like his only alternate form that's never given a name. It's on the cover. He's got stripes for some reason. That's on the cover of Encode. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, the striped Vmon. I remember that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know why he's done like that there, but man, I'm annoyed that we never got this manga over here.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this Greymon. That Greymon just looks so sick. It's like, it kills me. It kills me, and especially now knowing that it ties in perfectly to Cybersuit, which we got Rina and Mirai from. I don't know. Okay. But that's
imagine if like there was some side character in Cyber Sleuth or Hacker's Memory that actually was a huge Digimon fan.
Digimon Saturn is the bane of this live stream existence.
It's actually the opposite. It's quite literally, it's like the opposite of the bane. It is like the basis upon which all things are built. That's a good point.
No, I like Saturn. I actually been playing Saturn there quite recently for our videos coming up.
Wait, you figured out how to play Saturn? I've been trying to figure that out forever.
I've been playing it for a while now. I have it on my phone. It's a lot of fun. But see, I have like very, very basic Japanese, so I can kind of navigate it a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it. That's how I got. Do you remember my many faces of? I have like a little clip with Saturn. Like a lot of the gameplay I have, like 90% of it, I get through my own shit. Like just playing it. It's like that's. I've been playing Saturn because I'm working on more many faces of videos, just like talking about. Shameless plug here. I'm just talking about like the growth of Digimon, where the design started and where they've ended. I'm working on the Greymon one now, so obviously to go through that, I want to talk through Saturn because that's their first colored sprite. That's their very first colored sprite. I have to talk about that.
I have wanted to figure out how to play Saturn myself for a while now because
I will help you set it up.
Heck yeah.
I can help set it up if you want. It's going to be a little bit difficult. There is one really cool feature, and I love it. You can get like a certain like a robot that like automatically feeds your Digimon and stuff. I love that.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
That's one little feature I love about it. I also love that it's done like a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're working on a desktop.
The whole basis for that is that
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. One thing I do know, and this is stuff I learned just reading Ravel's blog,
which again is like quickly, I just want to answer this question. Couldn't the striped Vmon be something like Rina's Vmon or VV? I can tell you right now, this is the only time we see the striped Vmon. In the rest of the manga, he does not have a stripe. I have the Digimon card of Rina and her Vmon, and he does not have a stripe. That's the only time he has stripes. I feel like the artist or whatever accidentally gave him stripes, and then he has stripes. So I'm calling him Striped Vmon now, and I want him to think because I actually kind of like the stripes on him. They look really sick. Yeah. But I've looked around because I thought he had stripes somewhere in the manga when I was reading it before, and I can't find them. So obviously that was the only time I've seen it.
Watch
And
us
it's just
get,
really cool. So I kind of want
watch
to see.
Bandai just randomly drop a Vmon X antibody, and then we all look at the Vmon X antibody, and it's just the stripe.
That would be so cool.
Like
just
they're
like
just like
there's
this one singular piece of artwork where someone messed up and gave Vmon a stripe. Let's make it a real Digimon.
you know the whole thing with Vtuber. Vtuber was supposed to be a rookie, like a more battered look. Vtuber was supposed to be a rookie first.
Based in design off of a
On
combination of the original Greymon sprite and the original interpretation from the old actual consistent artwork from the Come On Digimon and original VPET guidebook eras.
Digimon King. Look at Digimon King's manga.
Ooh, okay.
That's where Digimon King the manga. That's where actually I have an image of it somewhere here. I think I could post it up in the research. But there's some really cool alternate art of all these Digimon. Like I says, I've been working on all this shit for the many faces of, and there's a blue Greymon before Blue Greymon where he's all armor plated and everything. Have you seen that one before?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the original version of Metal Greymon.
No. This is Greymon. He's called Greymon.
Oh, okay. So
it's the
Metal Greymon
first
is
manga, and he's all
more armored version, basically.
He's almost completely in armor, like a gray armor, and he's all blue. It's literally, if you see Vdramon now, I've been trying to find any correlation between the two, and I can't. So it just makes me think.
One thing I can say about that is Vmon's design in the original V-Tamer manga, if I remember correctly, before Tai gets dragged into the digital world, the appearance of Vmon on his virtual pet is just a V-shaped stripe on the belly of the original version 1 Greymon, which is supposed to be representative of its status as a weird, unique champion on the original version 1, because canonically Zero evolved from an Agumon. Yeah. So there is an actual connection, lore-wise even.
But what if I told you that Zero was actually supposed to be the rookie? Vdramon was the rookie.
Ah.
That's what originally the writers want him to be, was a rookie.
And then they changed
but then
it to
he looked too kind of what was it? He looked like an adult form Digimon, so this is okay. He's an adult form now.
Yeah.
That's from whatever I've looked up anyways. Now I still have to proofread all the stuff because I'm still trying to make these fucking videos. But I still have to proofread whatever, and that's just the information I've come across. But it feels like it lines up, so I kind of been going with it for now. But
it's the first I've heard of it, but it definitely sounds it definitely makes sense from what it sounds like.
I try to find the articles. I've been going through a load of old articles. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you've seen the other one that I've done with the Agumon, I have a couple of Psycho jumps there. One of them actually showed the prototype for the original Digimon keychain.
Mm-hmm.
It's going through all that.
The one that they showed off at the Digimon Museum that popped up recently?
No.
Oh,
it was
the
before
original
that.
Prototype.
So the keychain, it stood like this. It was not on the side like
it was
that.
Thomas style.
The buttons on the bottom like a Tamagotchi. Yeah, and the connectors are up here instead of here. It was really weird. It was basically the same thing, but had a bigger screen flipped to the side, kind of.
Yeah.
It was literally the same thing. It was just flipped to sideways for some reason. Yeah. But I just thought it looked really cool, so I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find. I can't find this manga because I downloaded. Through completely legal means. I downloaded the manga with the covers and stuff. I can't find it, but he's on the back cover along with Devimon giving the bird or whatever.
About Bandai. One thing I can say about Bandai, and this is all I'll say, is that Kamen Rider has almost consistently had very little in the way of legally available means of actually watching any given season of the series.
Yes.
And that Kamen Rider has also consistently had their merch appear on Premium Bandai US.
Mm-hmm.
Draw conclusions from this that you will. But know that they did not come from me. And in no way Can they be traced back to me?
Check DMs for funny thing Agumon said. Oh,
Let's
is this
see.
the thing I done an edit on this? Is this the yoke I was showing you earlier on?
No, it's a page from Encode, and it's just Agumon saying, "I want to eat the best kind of meat."
Okay, I'm gonna screen share my my thing to you again. Can these guys see this screen share if I put it up?
They should be able to, actually. I might be able to, like, move you so that you're on the main screen real quick.
Oh, look, I feel special.
Yeah.
2 seconds there now. I just wanna... Where's Discord? How do I do this again? No, I'm Discord noob. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I still had a stream. Okay, that's grand. Swap your application. Okay. 2 seconds. I'm going to stop the stream and then share my screen again. But I'm gonna go to... Where are you gone? Where'd you go?
All right, we have Giant Traxtal now.
Giant Traxtal. I am big no. 2 seconds. Because I have a funny little edit. Tom Fan says some funny stuff on a podcast today, and I redubbed Digimon Adventure with what he said because it was so funny. Can I get it? Please get this. Do I have to? Don't tell me I have to. Oh wait, I got it here. So you can see that on your screen, can you?
Yes.
I hope you can.
It's loading right now. Alright. I don't, guys, if after the first run of the video you couldn't hear it, let us know. But everything's set, so you should be able to go for it.
That's okay. I just want to get it. Oh.
Wait, hold on.
I thought it was so funny.
Hold on. Let me pause my BGM and turn it up a bit. Or actually, let me turn it up a bit, because I can actually do that.
Say when?
Hold on. Let me move. Alright, go for it.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
That is so good.
Oh, I can't wait. I took the scene from where he's going to fight Kawagama. It's like Tom Fan said that on a podcast today. He was talking to like a Disney CEO and Agumon's voice saying he was going to kick his ass. So I was like, okay, I have to do this. So I'm now putting that in my streams as like a chat command or whatever once I figure it out.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good, good sound alert.
Even better, I have a new one. So I found a clip online of Steve Blum at a convention where he told people in Guilmon's voice to have safe sex. So I'm going to take a clip of Guilmon where he could just say have safe sex or whatever. So I'm gonna like do a few little bits just to like mix it, but like some amazing things. I've just been going around trying to find these little clips, and it's just like the fact that I can get them in the like voice actors like actual voices. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
So good.
But yeah, it's just so that I'm not messing with your stream there. I'm going to actually just shut that down there. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
thought it was so funny when I was seeing it there today. Where the hell am I? Where is I? I am such a Discord noob. I can't find anything when I'm in. But yeah, that's pretty much all the informations that I have on the video games.
Yeah, no, and like it
Until they come out
coalesces
with more.
perfectly into Gigo being the company that is being the new name of the Sega building.
It was awesome. I couldn't fucking click that until the second there. Well, yeah, that's actually another thing.
I think that's the first time that's ever clicked for me, though.
I need to find it. I put it in my server there a long time ago when it happened. I was like, holy shit, Gigo, that's them, But then I forgot about it again.
Yeah.
Till this conversation.
Yeah,
but that's another thing I want to say
we're adding that to the list of MONSPIRACY empirical, like, undeniable achievements. Lucimon is the good guy. Gigo is real. all of this, like these, like I'm just making a list of things I need to somehow turn into hashtags on Twitter and just spread around the Digimon community so everyone's aware of it.
Oh man, but what was I going to say? No, we were saying about how Cybersuit was basically the human world or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another thing I just want to throw in. Remember we were talking about Tamers. Tamers
Yeah.
being the human world.
Yeah.
And how Digimon and Cybersuit, Digimon Tamers and Cybersuit will have Digimon media in their world. And they also, taken from actual real world places. Maybe Tamers and Cybersuit actually came from the same world in a way, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
with all that. But yeah, that's what I nearly think. Anyways, just because they have literally the whole thing. Do you remember in like the dub I was saying to you earlier about the whole they have wild ones, or whatever? It was like
Yeah, yeah.
Digimon randomly popping up in our world. That literally happens in Cybersuit. So I wonder would they even be the same time or same era as each other as well?
Maybe. I feel
Hashtag
like the
Gigo is
key thing
real.
about Cyber Sleuth, and this is spoilers for Cyber Sleuth, so anyone who hasn't finished the Cyber Sleuth and Hackers Memory games, close your ears for the next 10 seconds.
Hit mute in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So the ending of Cyber Sleuth resets the timeline a bit, such that, or doesn't reset the timeline, but rewrites history such that the VR system that they have, Eden, never existed. All of the, like, time continues being at the same place it was before, but outside a select group of individuals, no one remembers that Eden existed, and the fallout of any events that occurred because of Eden's existence did not happen. As such, it could theoretically be the case that Cyber Sleuth takes place in the same year that it was released. Also, chat, just let the people who are possibly muted know that it's safe to come back.
Okay, I'll type.
Wait, I can type.
There. I beat you to it.
Yeah.
But no, I like Cybersuit. As far as like, I'm sorry, it's the mainline title. I would have preferred that to have been Digimon. Another thing, looking back at the like Digimon Adventure thing, I wish they'd done this with more of the anime ones. I know they kind of done it.
Been cool.
Actually, do you know they kind of have done it. Adventure had its video game.
Mm-hmm.
02 never got a game, which oh no, they did. They got Tag Tamers.
Yeah, 02 got
But
Tag Tamers.
it's not exactly their game, but like to have the anime told in the game would have been sick. Tamers got the MMO that came out, Digimon Battle or Digimon RPG. Frontier, they in a way they had Digimon, what was it? Digimon Spirit, whatever, Spirit Battle.
Dragon out.
What?
The Pokemon anime is actually ending. That's insane.
Oh no, that's heartbreaking. I genuinely don't care. I haven't watched Pokemon in so long. It's like, will I watch it? I'll probably watch the last episode.
Yeah, I was literally telling you earlier about how I have pretty much been completely burned out on Pokemon.
I haven't watched the anime in years. I tried to watch Digimon or Pokemon Journeys with my young fella there on Netflix, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the best. I just instead went back to the original Pokemon as we sat down and watched that instead. That's the Pokemon I want him to grow up with, because that's the only Pokemon that's worth watching.
Yeah.
No, I am a Gen 1er. I'm a filthy Gen 1er. I mean, in the worst way possible. But, I mean, I just don't like any of the newer Pokemon anime. The games can be okay. I like games up until X and Y. Sword and Shield are, they're okay, but they need the DLC to feel complete. I
Yeah.
hated Sun and Moon. I absolutely despise Sun and Moon. Oris didn't like that one either. Arceus I liked, but I just couldn't get into it because I felt like I fell behind in it.
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet are kind of like my last hurrah for Pokemon. If I can't get into Scarlet and Violet, like I could get into X and Y, or I don't know, best case scenario, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the best Pokemon games.
Yeah.
If I can't
yeah,
get
those were
into
great.
those games like that, then I probably am done with Pokemon, because
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, I'm looking for a Pokemon game to compete with Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I don't think I'm gonna see it. There's so much Heart Gold and Soul Silver had, where I think it was down to the extra peripherals. Like I have, it's not here with me, but actually, it's a game we forgot to talk about as well. Is Pocket Digimon World? I don't know. Have
Yeah.
you seen Pocket Digimon World?
I've seen like pictures of it sometimes.
Yeah, I love Pocket Digimon World. It's such a cool game. I hope they come back and do it. Habu says he'd like to do a game that could function with an outside peripheral, like another kind of device. So I'd like to see him do it. This was because a lot of people are
I'd love
asking
to
me
see something like
functionality with the
Pocket
VB.
like ideal Digimon game, just like random hypothetical, would be
Yeah,
MMORPG.
Digimon Medley was sort of Tamers and Adventure. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like I want something exactly like this. We were talking before, me and a few other people were saying how Ghost Game would lend itself so well to Cyber Sleuth,
Yeah, it
just
would.
because of
It
like
literally
how.
is Cyber Sleuth the anime.
That's what I'm saying. Is I would love to see Digimon Story, what you call it, Pocket Digimon World, please. I would love to see Pocket Digimon World, like newer version of it.
Yeah.
Because I love Pocket Digimon World. It was one of the cooler games. It was like Pocket Digimon World had DLC before DLC was a thing. It was madness. It was insane. It's like you bought new discs. You bought new discs. They had new features, but they also had like completely different Digimon. It's one of the best Digimon games out there, and it's a shame that it's locked to whatever. It actually had functionality with the Wonder Swan as well, even though it's a PlayStation game. It's madness. Bandai went all out on that thing.
Yeah, my ideal Digimon game would be using the Vital Bracelet as the peripheral device.
They don't want to do that. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. So Habu says if he's going to do a thing like that,
I was the one who asked the question in the live stream with Habu, where he said, "I'd rather not use the Vital Bracelet because I want everyone to be able to enjoy it."
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's saying he doesn't want people to have to go and buy the thing. So hopefully, what he's getting at there is something like what I was talking about with Heart Gold Soul Silver. It comes with
Like
something
the
like a Pokewalker that you can already attach to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they do like a Digivice, some sort of thing comes with it, or a Pocket Station device that comes with it, and you can just transfer your Digimon around with you, bring it to your phone or something. Actually, yeah, that's something they could do. Is just build an external app for free that works with it. But the problem I would find with that is the problem I find with that is that when they decide to shut down, that's it, and then the game is, it's gonna lose all that functionality, which he says is gonna be secondary anyways. So it means like a blink of an eye they can shut it down. You know how how Digimon are, Bandai are with their apps. They just shut them down whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, I mean,
so
once we get the BE app and most people have moved their Digimon over to that, I'm not going to be surprised if the actual VB lab goes down.
Yeah, I've already said that anyone that's got their Digimon on the VB app, move them over if you can, because they're going to go. They haven't updated Arena on that thing in 2 months since we have Arena on there. We got all last month and not a single raid. That app is slowly dying. In saying that though, the characters app has been up for so long they never added even Arena to that. That thing has just been so plain since it came out. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Pokewalker is like the third most accurate pedometer ever. I did not know that.
That is hilarious.
Just have a packed in thing. I love that in your Pocket Digimon World, your Digimon would talk to you. That's what I loved about Pocket Digimon. Are you familiar with? I'll explain it for anyone that's not familiar. Anyways, like Fandra was saying, there is actually Pocket Digimon World. Your Digimon's mood and how they interact with you and your bond between your Digimon is actually what makes them grow. And that's one of the things I love the most about it. Is like the amount of effort you put into your Digimon is what you get back.
That's
but you can also unlock
a fantastic
different things.
aspect for a VPet.
but they haven't done anything like that since. Like even with
I'd say the
Digimon World,
closest thing that
there's
we're getting,
no
like,
emotional balance.
there's no
Go on.
emotional connection. The closest thing we've gotten to an effort system in the longest time, because there were some on the earlier VPETs. But the closest thing is the BE having the exercises actually train specific stats for.
But this
the
is the other
characters.
thing I'm trying to say is that was all on the Pocket Station before.
Yeah.
Like Fandra says, there was all different sprites or whatever. That's true, and each Digimon had its own activities. Like if Agumon's thing for fun was sit down and watch the TV, Centauromon's sit down and dance to the radio.
Yeah.
So they all had their own different like likes and dislikes and hobbies and stuff. Biomon used to take a bath, and I thought it was so funny. If she was pissed off, like she'd just try and drown herself in the bath. It was fucking terrible. If you didn't like your Biomon, she was just like burying herself with bubbles coming up out of the tub, and you just see her hair sticking out. It was just the funniest thing ever.
That is so sad.
Oh yeah, and if Patamon got annoyed, he'd flip you off, like literally just give you the bird. It's like it was one of the coolest things. I kind of want to see them bring it back because it's like there's
that
so
is absolutely
many
something they
cool
should bring
things.
back. Another thing.
And could you imagine if they gave it colored screen as well?
I mean, I was about to say something that's been kind of on my mind a little bit for a while is that right now the BE is shifting from being we're shifting from having a bracelet that's purely for Digimon and a bracelet that's purely for outside IPs to a single bracelet that's shared by all IPs.
Which again comes to your constant thing of it is now a Digimon.
That's true, but it has me wondering, right around the point where we get a device that unifies all the IPs, we get the Digimon color. Which is quite literally taking the number one thing we've asked for on Digimon Virtual Pets.
Like you just brought it up there.
And just gives it the one thing.
I feel like
Collectively,
what took so
we
long
have
to
forgotten about the color, but part of me wonders if the color is a test to see.
It is.
Like, it is a test. Like, we know that
They've
if
said
it
it.
sells well, they're going to make it for their other versions of the digital monster.
Yeah,
What
but
I'm
it's gotta be
wondering
like
about, though-
Tamagotchi. Go on.
What I'm wondering about
No,
is the color a test not only of whether or not they can sell colored versions of regular Digimon Virtual Pets and people will buy them, but is it a test to see if they can get enough sales to break off of the BE and just completely move away from the Vital Bracelet and have a version of essentially the Thomas Smart, but for Digimon? Because yes, the Thomas Smart is a bracelet,
I could
but it's
see
not
that. But I
exercise
mean, like,
themed.
but that's the thing about Digimon is like it's always been about exercise. Look at the Digivices; they're pedometers.
That's true.
You know, the amount of people that it's always been about that. The VB just seems like the VB actually is literally just the Digivice from Ghost Game. I've always said it is like it is just a Digivice. It's the new Digivice. Like how long is it since we got a Digivice? A brand new one. This
Our
is their new
Digivice
Digivice.
is literally the Digivice V.
But that's what I'm saying.
It
Before
is-
that, I mean, like
Ghost Game
people
is
are looking
literally-
for, I want
Ghost
a new
Game is
Digivice, I
using
want a
it
new
literally
Digivice,
in the
but
same
this
way
is
that-
their Digivice.
Yeah, sorry. It's literally
No,
their
no, it's okay.
Digivice. It's the same as Data Squad and Savers, where it's literally they're using the current virtual pet as their Digivice.
It's even got the battles, like your adventure modes. It's literally got that. It is your Digivice. People are like, I was wondering for the longest time, I want like VPET functions or whatever. A Digivice doesn't have that. A Digivice is just a monster you put on your belt, you walk around, you battle, and that's what the VV is. That's what the whole lot. That's what
Yeah,
all
I
it
remember
is.
when
Like,
it first came out, me and Air were talking about it, and it is the perfect fusion of the Digivice and virtual and Digimon VPet concepts. The only difference is that you don't feed this one.
yeah, and it's kind of like that's all it is. So like I have heard people say I want to see a new Digivice, but what they're looking for is they're looking for an LCD toy Digivice, but they're not looking at the VB like a Digivice. They're seeing it like a VPet because of the alternating paths. Now, what I do love is that they have made it somewhat more affordable, the DIM cards. You don't have to collect every DIM card, but you can get a new Digimon every few months. Do you know?
Another thing that Half Draggy just pointed out, which is very good for us, is Digimon is now Toei's third highest grossing franchise. And that means that I feel like that is almost entirely the reason we're getting the next order port. Like, Habu finally won the argument of there are people who buy Digimon.
I feel like we were going to get that anyways. Draggy did point this out to me like last year, the year before. I think it was last year actually, would have been. September, they filed a trademark for next order. September last year.
Oh, wow.
August last year, they filed a trademark for next order. So that's what this is. We're seeing the fruits of that now. So I feel like they've always wanted to do this. This is the only more modern world game. Habu has been said in recent interviews, a couple of recent interviews, he doesn't know how to tackle a new world game. So he's going to put this out. Think about, remember I said Bandai asked me for my feedback. They put out, even on Twitter then, a couple of weeks later, they asked everyone else for their feedback on the game. Now, when they put out this world game, they're going to look for feedback on it. What can people do better? That might spark some ideas for the next world game, and they can start building from there. Yeah. Because they had a bigger pool of people that got to play it. So we might get a new world game a couple of years down the line, after we've got the next story game. 2 years, but finally it did, and we got it. I'm so happy. You feed it exercise. I just imagine now that you're just wringing out a sweaty towel into your Digimon's mouth, like, there you go, there's your food. Enjoy.
No, I remember like for the longest time the running joke with the VB was that like it's your own digital parasite because it's literally feeding off your biometric data.
But no, it's like there's some funny stuff anyways. It's like I enjoyed the VB. I still love the VB. I haven't used it in a long time. You know, it's just not been on my arms at all now. That's just because
I'm
it took everything down
right now, but that's just because I am addicted to having a Digimon on me all times.
New DIMs here. They're not even opened. Okay, I plan on doing some sort of discussion on these, but quickly, what I want to say anyways is that they shut down the VB's functions, the VB Labs functions, way too early because they don't have anything set up.
I think there might have been some kind of like delay on that front because we were told it was going to arrive
now it's funny
fall.
You say there's a delay. It's funny you say there's a delay. What happened to Ghost Game there a few months back?
A delay?
Yeah, it went on hiatus. Yeah, it went on hiatus. This all, I assume, because like look how they had so much news about the BE, they all of a sudden went silent. And now they're kicking up news again. I feel like that hack had something to do with push back all this because the VB or the BE is all tied into the anime. Now, as soon as they're getting back into the promos for the BE, you're starting to see little bits and pieces come into the anime, like when spoilers, but Heroes Watch showed the VV symbol, VV, the double V or whatever. But yeah, that's what I think it is. I think the VB is the new form of Digivice for now. I also feel like that's why they're pushing the Ghost Game series for as long as they have, because I don't think it needs to be as long as it is.
Yeah, honestly, it definitely feels like there's a lot of filler with the amount.
It's dragging. It's really dragging. I've been wanting. I'm holding off on doing more official kind of like conversations on it, but it's like
I'm honestly thinking I'm just gonna go back and watch Air's summary videos for each episode I've missed to be caught up.
But see, you can't do that either because you have, it's like if it's something that you are actually genuinely interested in, you should probably watch it, because if what happens when Crunchyroll doesn't get the views on Digimon, it's like, oh shit, this isn't doing well. Let's not get the next season.
See, that's the nice thing. I don't need to worry about that because I make questionable decisions online.
Oh.
So Crunchyroll already wasn't looking at my number.
Oh, god damn it. Oh, that's funny. We hope fan project of not bracelet VB is successful just because I want it to be called the V brick.
V brick is
But
beautiful. The vital brick.
I don't know. I like the VB, but I do think like they could have gone the way of Cross Wars and just stopped it, put in a second series, and kind of continue that way. I don't think they needed to drag it out as long as it did. And if they were going to, they should have added a little bit more plot. Because as it is, it's I binged like 4 or 5 episodes back to back, and I'm not gonna lie, they
No change to the
absolutely
status
suck.
quo.
The last like 4 or 5 episodes I watched is like they sucked so bad, all the way up to 50. Like if you have to think around 50 round now, we were on the Dark Masters. We were finishing up. We were heading up to Puppetmon at this or Puppetmon. What's his name? Piedmon at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's like we're dealing with someone in a dress. Do you know? It's like I've gone missing.
Yeah.
Do you know? I'm covered in mushrooms. Help me. Tyrannomon would have had a ball.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
That's true.
At least we're getting new Digimon here and there. That's one thing I do like about Ghost Game. They're introducing new Digimon. Like it's not very often we get like some sort of media in Digimon that just drops a ton of new Digimon for us to listen to. So I am happy.
I do like the new approach to new Digimon that they're taking recently via Ghost Game and the card game. Of instead of being like they'll dump a bunch of new Digimon in a video game or like have new Digimon from the start of a series, but it's just like the protagonist ones, and then over time they get added to the reference book. Now, you can just wake up one morning, oh hey, there's 3 new Digimon.
What I like about Ghost Game is they're actually taking a lot of risks with the kind of like fear factor in Digimon. Do you know, like by
absolutely.
adding
I think
some adult
like
like body horror and stuff. I
it.
like that they're doing that.
Yeah, I think that Ghost Game is something I personally have never gotten mad at the lack of plot in
Draggy, I
Ghost Game.
think that's the main plot. I think just talking about Draggy's, I think that's the main plot. Is just what are they gonna wear next?
I mean,
You know?
I personally I do have to admit, every week going into Ghost Game, I had to go in. My main question on my mind was, obviously, are we getting more plot this week? And then the immediate question after that was, I wonder how scary this will be. But the third question I ask is Ruli's outfit this week going to make me jealous again?
But here's the thing: is like when you have a show and it's like this is like shonen or whatever, you know, this is like fucking monsters and shit. It's like, but when your main conversation after each episode is, oh my god, the shorts he was wearing just sucked, you know, and like that's over what's been going on. I mean, like you have Eyesmon, your one is plucking eyes out of her arms. It's like, damn, Kyoshiro's jacket just didn't go with his pants, you know.
This is the
Something
reason
is wrong.
This is the reason we don't have character customization. It's not because they want to tell a story. It's because they know that we'll be ruthless to each other.
Which I like. I want that. Yeah. I want that. I want to have an Eyesmon that can actually give my character eyes.
Yeah. I want to
I want a customizable outfit that has like a t-shirt but with the arms just eyes.
Ooh.
That would be sick.
That would be
sick. I want that.
I want to live in a world where the basis for 90% of Digimon battles is someone insulted your drip, and so now you have to fight them to defend your honor.
No, I think it'd be some cool stuff they could do. One question I asked myself every week is, how does Jellymon Sama fit into this week's episode? I always want to know, where has Jellymon gone? I hate, okay, here's what I hate. We have this like Digimon like series, okay, that's not going anywhere with the plot. They're just doing Monster of the Week. But we have these secret Digimon meetings. We've got a Digimon that goes off hustling whatever the hell they want. Do you know? And we don't see what they do, but we'll have a look at Kyoshiro get scared for the 100th time. Do you know? It's kind of like, I want to see what goes on at the meetings.
Especially in a season like this one where we have 3 tamers, and the Digimon are
3
developed
very
to have
plain
their own...
tamers. They all have very, like, you know, the more kind of, what's the word for it? They're very typical kind of like personality traits. Whereas the Digimon this season are the more important thing, the more kind of like interesting thing. They have their meetings. What goes on at these meetings? What's Jellymon doing? Why do I have to listen to Hero be the most generic fuck
interesting
ever?
characters
You know?
to them. Let us follow the Digimon. They actually are their own characters this season, as opposed to some where they're just reflections of their tamer.
I don't know. That's kind of what I think. I think they should just go back to kind of like, give me some character and Digimon development, and just let me carry on with the story. Because I mean, Hero's dad's there. What is Hero's dad doing? What kind of mayhem is he causing in the digital world? Do you know that all the Digimon want to leave their own world to get away from him and head to the people's world? Do you know? It's like, what is he doing over there? I need to know. Do you know?
It almost feels like Ghost Game was written in the context of being a side anime to go along with Cyber Sleuth. Because Digimon showing up out of nowhere, causing trouble because they don't understand human shit, either have to get put down or reintroduced to how human society works.
Ghost Game is, you know, that one submission in Cyber Sleuth, where there's like this paranormal activity group.
Yeah.
And they're chasing down this one monster, which is a Digimon. That's Ghost Game.
Side quests throughout the entirety of the Cyber Sleuth duology. They keep showing up. It's
out
great.
Of all of Cyber Sleuth as well, though, that's probably the only mission that I remembered.
Yeah.
Out of all the side quests, there was a couple of them that were kind of weird, but they're literally all Ghost Game. So I kind of want to see it done as a game rather than an anime. I think it just makes more sense as a game. Yeah. When Hero got the letter back from his dad, and I thought, we're gonna get some plot. Yeah, no, that killed me when I seen that.
I honestly died laughing when that happened.
But see, the discussion there with the director or whatever, the writers were saying that they wanted to try this episodic approach because of the attention span of younger viewers or whatever nowadays. Where they're just not really wanting to they're not really wanting to pay attention to these long stories anymore. And Digimon, obviously, as an anime series, I saw on the longer side. When you see most anime series, they're about 20, 30 episodes tops. But Digimon goes on to 40, 50, or in the event of like Crosswords goes on to 70 or 80. Do you know? So it's kind of like, it is a longer series to follow, which, people that aren't really into that kind of thing, it is a bit, but adjust to that. Make it a shorter series. You don't have to have everything. I wouldn't mind getting a shorter Digimon series. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me at all.
To be honest, but I mean, like, one thing I will say is, I personally have not really had qualms with Ghost Game's lack of plot when I was following week to week, but that's because I was turning in just looking for a Digimon-related horror story.
But see, that's what I was looking for as well. But I feel like now we've had that for over a year now.
Yeah,
we are getting every week a new Digimon horror story.
We can have a shift. We can do something different. And I think you're right in that if we had Digimon anime structured more like we have like seasonal anime. We have a seasonal Digimon anime that shows up every so often, maybe once a year. Maybe 13 to 26 episodes total. And whatever the current Digivice is of that era, it's just, that's what they've got on. I think that would be a pretty good.
But you could, but because they obviously want to use it to sell toys, you could use Digivices for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
They done it with 02.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the original Digivice, and then they had the new Digivices as well. Do you know? Which they kept going in try as well. So they have been using the same model for so long. They don't have to change the Digivice. They can just like add new
feel like
Digimon to keep
the only reason that they would need to change the Digivice is so that they don't have to worry about being canon to each other. But I mean, if we're going to keep the BE for the foreseeable future, I wouldn't be surprised if we got 3 completely separate, independent Digimon anime as seasonal anime.
But then you can get games based around each season.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, like, the B is perfect one to be able to do that, which probably is what they're wanting to go for.
Mm-hmm.
I just think at this point it is going on a little bit. It's going on a bit too long. I don't want to shit all over because it's actually, I'm enjoying it still to an extent, but it's getting to the point now where I'm like, I'm looking for plot. I want a plot. We're here long enough just watching.
We've been with these kids for long enough, and nothing has happened. Something needs to happen if they want us to stay.
I know nothing about them. That was that one episode where Kyoshiro got a little bit brave, and then since then he's just been, a coward again. All of a sudden. I would love to see skip the filler and only watch plot important episodes for GT. I wonder how long. It's gonna be. You won't even get a full episode. You get a snippet of an episode. It'll probably be a minute long, full of clips for all the plot that's been in it. So that's what I see, because it's like I'm also wondering how they're going to censor it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. When they bring it out over here, they're going to censor the shit over.
Oh my god!
Like the Eismon episode I was talking about earlier, where she jabs the fucking scissors into her eyes to try and pluck out the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna make it into an episode over here.
Yeah.
I
just don't think Ghost Game's gonna get brought over. I don't think
probably
we
won't.
can.
It probably won't. I mean, like, they didn't bring Atmon over here. Mm-hmm. They're bringing over 2020, but I mean, like, that's gonna sell.
Yeah.
2020 reboot it's going to sell because it's 2020. It's Tai and Agumon. It is literally Tai and Agumon. That's it. Don't expect to see anyone else. But that's about all though. I don't know what Ghost Game can do at this point. It's kind of a little bit late in the game now as well to be just throwing out all this extra plot, because I don't think there's a whole lot of people that are still actively following it. I think everyone's just kind of jumping in every now and again.
Yeah.
To see what's going on.
Yeah.
Kyo's Comic Relief, where Hero is based MC, and Rudy is the Thrill Seeker. Yeah, I kind of see that, but it's kind of like, I want to see them expand beyond that. I don't want them to just have typical tropes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at, do you remember Joe? Joe's the perfect example, actually, in the original Digimon series, where he was like this cowardly, dude was like, he wanted to help and make sure everyone was safe or whatever, but he was also afraid of everything. But it got to the point then where he just says, okay, I have to adapt. I do want to keep everyone safe. So he put his fears aside. He still got scared every now and again, but he put his fears aside just so that he can look out for the group. Make sure he could help make reasonable decisions. His Digimon was still a dick to him. But he made some progress. He still made some progress, but we haven't seen anything like that. We got that one episode with Kyoshiro, and that was it. Hero, I thought we were going to see something with Hero when he had that falling out with GAMERMON. But again, that amounted to nothing.
Yeah.
It's okay, here you go. Here's some chocolate. You're good. You can go again.
Yeah.
Best part of our Lord and Savior, GAMERMON, being crucified. What Digimon would you like to see cause more horror? Seeing how nearly anything goes in Ghost Game, what would you like to spook the kiddies with in the future? Oh, that's a very good question. There's some really cool Digimon I'd love to see. I want to see a Demon Lord's arc.
A Demon Lord arc would be fantastic. A Demon Lord arc would be fantastic.
I want to see them. Could you? That's what I'm saying. It's like, could you imagine how you just write them as dark as you possibly can? Especially because like they're actually like based on actual demons. Actual demons in religious worlds or whatever, religious beliefs. Like there's some really cool stuff there. They can get really dark with that. But again, I don't think they're gonna do that. We might see them for an episode, and they're not even gonna be like fixed to whatever lore they're following. Beamon.
I mean,
I need to find out more about Beamon. I need to play World 3 more.
I mean, one thing I can say is that they have been fairly consistent with established lore so far. Ghost Game, I think, is the only anime we've ever had, even including Tamers, that has actually been true to the actual original lore. And
I don't want to see Lilithmon seduce and drain the life out of someone. We've seen some stuff like that already from
we
other
have.
Digimon. I'm not gonna lie, it comes across kind of creepy when you realize they're 10.
Yeah. I mean, it was,
Lie.
I did appreciate how the episode with the seductive vampire dude had him treat Ruli like a child and not actually.
In saying that though, I do actually kind of want to see Lilithmon, but I want to see I would like see her kind of like do the whole fucking like, you know, I'm the demon lord of lust bullshit, but it's like actually, you know, I don't know, just write it more adult or whatever. Actually, do you know what I want to see? I want to see a series where they actually are adults. They kind of do it with Keys and that, but I kind of want to see them like actual series where they are adults.
My perfect Digimon anime would be an approach similar to Ghost Game and Cyber Sleuth. All of the protagonists are like, at the very least, 17 and up. And it just doesn't hold back. It just explores Digimon in the same way that the games do.
Someone reappears and he's loitering. I love it.
Okay, but like, you don't understand. That's precisely what Beelzebub would do.
I know. That's what makes it so funny.
Beelzebub.
Don't mind me. I'm just lazy.
Come into the digital world, just park his bike, and like just park his bike in front of a 7-Eleven or something, like the local convenience store. Go in, steal a slushie, and then just like sit outside. And not
he wouldn't
leave.
even steal it. He'd Tom Sawyer or someone else to do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even do it himself.
Yeah.
I love seeing him do a Digimon story and let it be scary. Even see, that's what I want to see. I want to see him go full. And do you know like what they done with Pumpkinmon last Halloween? I want to see him get dark again.
Yeah, that was
like,
great.
Ghost Game is at its best when they just stop giving a fuck and they just, you know, all bets are off. You know, everything is as dark as possible. Like when Gulus first came along.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when he just offs Digimon as he sees them, was like he just does not care. They're the best moments in Ghost Game is where it's just all out creepy.
Yeah.
Do you know when we get a Digimon is like just comes in and he's a little bit mischievous, you know, and it's like okay, 20 minutes later, I'm sorry, and then he goes off and does his thing.
Yeah, the Cyber Sleuth side quest scenario.
Literally, yeah, it's like What was that episode where the Digimon was like a plant? Oh, what was that episode? I think it was, yeah, it was that one. That episode, the ending in that episode was just so dark, but it was so good. It was so dark, but it was so good. It was like that one episode or one mission in Cyber Sleuth. I can't say exactly what it is, but it was very dark. You had to help a Digimon do something similar because they wanted that similar thing to happen.
See, I remember like some a side quest like in Cyber Sleuth where with a similar premise that actually wasn't that dark. But Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory had some of the darkest side quests ever.
What sets Cyber Sleuth apart from Ghost Game, even though they can do some dark stuff, is Cyber Sleuth doesn't have the animation that Ghost Game has. If Cyber Sleuth had better animation, they didn't do the pop-in characters standing on the side of the screen and just dialogue boxes. I feel like they could get really dark and really heavy with the storytelling.
Absolutely.
But because of the way those games are written, it's just not gonna come off that way.
Yeah. But
even if it was like, do you know what games are?
In Cyber Sleuth.
I wouldn't even mind if they went the old classic JRPG route. One of my favorite moments in video games for me, and it's not even down to how the characters look. They don't show facial expressions. It's like Breath of Fire 3 way back.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Gar explaining how he killed all of Ryu's people way back when, in a massive war. And that's one of like the most heavier hitting kind of scenes I've seen in a video game. Where you're kind of like, oh fuck. Or even the new is another one where is that same game is like where you kill this beast that's like taking all the food from the villagers or whatever, but it's trying to feed its already dead babies. They don't have facial expression in those games, but the music, the writing is what sets the tone, and it can actually set it, like it gives a good emotion. But I think Cybersuit needs to work on doing stuff like that because they do have the stories that they want to do, but having the pop-in characters jump in, but they're emotionless and expressionless on the side of the screen with just like text that because of how it's translated, it doesn't have all the same emotion in it. Now, in saying that last scene in Hacker's Memory, that had a lot of emotion in it. That was a strong scene.
Yeah.
And again, it had the music, it had the writing, but they need to do that for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And that's what could set that apart. Because that's what you want with a story game. You want to have those kind of moments in it. You want to have the happy moments, but you also want to have a strong sad moments in the game as well. Because that's what they're writing most of them for.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed is it's 8:30 in my time zone, and we've been going for nearly 3 hours. You probably have to sleep, don't you?
I'm not in work tomorrow, so I couldn't give two flying fucks, to be honest. I'm not in work, so I don't care. I'm in work the next day. But like this is what I'm saying, like if I'd be more than enough to doing these streams with you. If time zones permit, because there's a lot of fun. I love listening to them. I don't get to listen to all of them that much because again, I get up for work like 3 a.m. or whatever, fucking 4 a.m. or whatever to leave the house at 5.
Yeah.
And it's like because of the time you stream, I don't get to listen to it all, which is a shame. So I have to go back and listen to a VOD, but it's not the same because you can't interact.
Exactly.
So like for the next couple of weeks, I am around for most Tuesdays, unless they'll call me for overtime on a Wednesday. But I should be around to do a couple of streams like this if you ever want me to jump on.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like the more the merrier is my approach. Anytime that someone is free, they are free to join. I'm also going to be structuring the scripts more like what we did today in general. And like,
it was sick. It was sick. Just have a conversation before we jump on, just set a general tone, and then just work away. What I do recommend you do though, with the channel, is because there's some cool bites of like information. Cut the clips out and put a link to the stream at the end.
I need to figure that out.
Don't join your studio. Download it. Just use Windows Movie Player. I used that editor for so long. I used it for over a year. Download that, put a clip up, and every once a week put up that clip.
Yeah.
Or even every couple of days put up a clip, because then you can keep constant flow of stuff. Because one thing I find, I streamed for years with no audience at all, and because I was just streaming, I wasn't making short form content. You weren't able to grow as fast. But I think because there's some great information in these, cut out the segments, put them up as like 4 or 5 minute segments or 10 minutes or whatever, and put them up like that. Do your custom thumbnails. Your thumbnail work is sick. Like, I love your thumbnails.
I literally have Xana introduced me to this one site called Canva, and I have been using a template that they have, and it just had the most like digital vibe to it, and I'm just like, yes, I'm going to throw Digimon artwork on top of this, and it will be glorious. And that's what I've done every single time. I've stolen
for my
transparent
thumbnails. I generally use just clip art, or I'll try makeshift from scratch.
Yeah.
And it takes so long. It's actually the one thing I hate, and what ruins it for me, because I feel like my videos are okay. I'm not going to say they're amazing, but I feel like they're okay. And then the thumbnails, a lot of time, just let them down. Because I'm putting all this effort into my editing and putting all this effort into my recordings or whatever. And then as soon as I go to the thumbnail, I'm burnt out. I'm like, fuck it, this will do. I throw it up whatever way it is. And that's what I was trying to say to you earlier. I know my thumbnails suck, but I'm too lazy to go back and fix them because
Yeah.
although I'm a trained graphic designer, I just could not give two fucks about a thumbnail. It's like it's just not worth the headache. But I have been trying to fix that lately. Like if you look at my thumbnails from last year, my thumbnails from last year sucked. I made like one template with the red and the yellow. I was like, okay, I'll use this, and that's fine. But now I'm getting a little bit more kind of like how I should lay things out or whatever. It's just something I have to go back to, like things I've learned through college or whatever, and try and put them and implement them a little bit better. Like I said, I'm very lazy when it comes to thumbnails because it's not the fun part of interacting. What makes it fun for me is the discussion. Do you know?
Yeah. I think something I might look into, because I know for a fact that I am not the kind of person who can actually search through hearing my own voice and finding individual clips. Is I know too much about Digimon lore anyway, so I might just look into making YouTube shorts about Digimon lore.
Here's the thing: YouTube shorts are good, but I feel like what YouTube pushes mostly is video form content.
I feel like you're right on that front.
Because I do shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a while, I haven't done them, but they don't perform as well. They seemingly perform better than a video at the start, but after a while, they fizzle out so quick.
Yeah, because there's so
Now,
many.
this is just me saying. I'm not fucking person to be talking to, but it's kind of like this is just what I've learned. Is just that streaming on YouTube doesn't work. Streaming works on Twitch. Now, once you get a following from your videos on YouTube, then streaming can be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shorts, obviously, shorts are good for like if you've got some cool ideas. I wish I had some of the ideas that like Karen or Hulos can come up with for shorts.
Oh, yeah.
My shorts are generally just like if I'm wanting to keep someone in the loop on news or whatever, and it's kind of like, okay, I need to get this up, but I don't have time to edit a quick video. I'll put this announcement here, and I'll be back later on with a fully edited, more thought out discussion. But because I wouldn't want people miss out, because my thing started off with scalpers kind of jumping on the VB or whatever. I was like, okay, I need to get this information up. I need links up really quick as where people can get this, and that's where shorts came in handy for me. But again, that's probably why my shorts are so kind of fast burning, is because they're very there and now. You have to be there or you miss it, and then it loses all information. All point, because there's already more information out about it. Yeah, that's kind of what I think anyways. But I do think you get used to listening to your own voice. I worked on radio for so long, that's why I'm kind of like I can listen to myself talk all day. I might be talking a load of bollocks, but my voice isn't gonna wreck my head. So that's kind of where I got that. But the more you do this, you'll get a bit more comfortable listening to your own voice. Just chop up, like I said, 5-10 minutes, throw them up every couple of days, just keep the channel active. And those videos will get people to come by your streams, because your streams are genuinely interesting. I would love to see you grow an awful lot more than what you have. I mean, I'm looking there, you have 70 subs. You easily should have a couple of hundred. The content that you put up is just amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been following you for about honestly, like I've been following the channel for about a year now, I think. And some great stuff. I've had some great content.
We just passed 1 year.
What? That's it. Is like I remember even like the first time I spoke to you before we done the whole MONSPIRACY thing here, like.
Yeah.
It was some cool conversation. We were having that conversation about the missing Waymon with the fucking hornet's head or whatever.
Yeah. The way that like the Excel blast modes have become like practically lost media, and that there's no actual artwork. It's just the sprites that we have. I love the look of those. They were insane.
That's what I'm saying. It's some really cool conversation that you have on here. It was like, I think it'd be worth it. Now, obviously, the shit that I've been talking in the last like 20 minutes, you can cut that at the end because it's not going to help your watch time. Because this is more just me trying to help you out here with whatever shitty information I have.
I mean, we could always cut this, upload it as a separate video of like Digimon creator tips featuring Traxtal.
Yeah, do these if you want to fail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell you what, I'm gonna head off. It's pushing for 2 a.m.
Yeah, and, that's what I was saying.
It was a lot. No, I look, I love talking to anyone in the Digimon community. I have a lot of time for talking to anyone. So I mean, like, like I said, there's not a whole lot of Digimon fans around my way. So if I have a chance, even if I stay up till fucking 2 a.m., I'll do it.
Heck yeah!
But yeah, thanks very much for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
see you again.
Thank you for coming.
See you again, chat. Right, bye bye.
Alright, later. And farewell to you as well, chat. Goodbye.